Hey, what's going on, people? How's everybody doing? Welcome to another wonderful Sunday evening. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying yourselves. You've enjoyed your weekend, and we're getting ready for Sister Wives premiere next week. And we will be doing the after show. Uh, I gotta try to make some changes. Damn, this thing is being difficult. Hopefully, everybody can hear me and see me. If you guys can hear me and see me, drop a one in the chat. See some ones going in. Thank you so much, Brittany. Not Brittany, Lizzie B, Linda, Kathy Ferran up in the house. What's up, Kathy? How you doing? Uh, awesomeness. I'm so glad you guys are here. Welcome to the show. We had an awesome time yesterday with the round table. Members were giving their insights on some of the sister wife shenanigans, if you will. We were talking about, we kind of had like a precursor discussion of the things that I wanted to talk about today, which is, uh, I thought it was kind of interesting, just to have this conversation and how it plays into like the conversation about creators. And I get it. Like, trust me when I say this, I understand trying to create or come up with content that's going to make you stand out in an already saturated, probably uh, shrinking market, right? It's not a whole bunch of people who are reaching out trying to do, sister wives content. Well, actually, it is a whole bunch of people trying to do sister wives content, but it's harder and harder to stand out while you do sister wife content. So I think that is one of the issues. Just so you guys know, sorry for usually while we were on the hiatus, I was trying to start it a little earlier at 6 o'clock, but I was hanging out talking to my dad and stuff, and things got pushed back. It is what it is. Yeah. So you take those opportunities, hanging out with my lady for her time. So, but as we talk about these things, are you guys? Let's ask some questions. Right off the top. Hey, I'm glad you caught me too, local art switch. Off the top, are you guys looking forward to season 20? Okay. Now I know it's been kind of a long time coming, not a long time coming, because it seems like we just ended season 19 because that was like the supersize season. So are you guys excited about uh the upcoming season and what's going on with it? Or are you kind of in a stage where you're like, I'm a little done with Sister Wives, or I can take it or leave it? Um Kathy Frey said, James, you have always stuck out. That's how I found you before you went live. And you used to look pissed off, and I died laughing. Yeah, right. Yeah, Cody used to get me. Some of the stuff he was doing, because that pesky way I was looking at him. Uh, Linda, okay, she started off both guns blazing. She said, hell no, I canceled TLC. Uh, Nathalie said, Greenwood said, no. Jody Periscala said, not rewatching. Danny said, yeah, and I think a lot of people kind of fall into that category. It's not necessarily they're watching for like, oh, I wonder what's gonna happen next. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I just want to see where it goes. And but some of that too is like I've been in it this long, so I mean, I got this much time investment. Uh Okay, Caddy said I need a 12-step program because I want it canceled. uh said I let's see. I'm very excited. Okay, we got see Janet. Janet Bunting. So I'm very excited about the new season. See? Jody Periscal said, I'd rather have a root canal. Oh, ah, with no Novocaine, just straight drills. Drills to the face. Yeah, I think I'm with that, Brittany. Like, I'm kind of mad on it. I'm sticking it out literally just for the my take on reality community. um, yeah, you know what? And that's the weird thing about it, because it's just at that point now. And sometimes I talk to my lady about it, and that's one of the things that I was saying. Like, even with, like, I harp all the time about like a 90 Day Fiance, because that was actually one of the first shows that I was watching, and like they keep bringing these people back on. So you have people that did like a season on 90 Day Fiance, and they'll bring them back for another season, and they just keep recurring these same people. And then you're looking at it, and you're saying to yourself, like, this is horrible television. So they just overproduce. Like, the storylines are clearly fake, um, and they're terrible actors. So it's even worse and it's even more obvious that the storylines are fake. And you say, well, why are they making all these fake storylines? Because they don't have a story to tell. Like, whatever story or whatever made them interesting is now gone or done. Like, they have a couple, Gino and Jasmine. Uh, she was from Panama, he's from the States. And they got to a point where she was crying and complaining, talking about she didn't want to marry him. Every season she said how she didn't want to marry him and it was over. And then by the time they get married, she comes to the States, they get married. Then she leaves them within like a couple months of them being married. They go on a 90-day last resort where she says she wants to open the marriage up to bring in another person. And then, of course, she gets pregnant by that dude. It leaves Gino. And it's just, they're still trying to bring them back for more shows and more like spinoffs. And they don't have a story to tell. They're done. She's with somebody else now. Right. So, like, what are we doing? And it's kind of like that with Sister Wives. Like, at the end of the day, like, the Brown family, as we were introduced to the Brown family, no longer exists. Christina's left. She's gotten married. Like, she's full on married. So there's no coming back. It's not like she's going to change her mind and come back to the family. Then, of course, Janelle, she's living in a different state on the other side of the country. Mary, she lives in a different state. And Kody doesn't want her. And it's never going to happen. Like, it's just never going to happen. So the Brown family, as we were introduced to the Brown family, doesn't exist. So everything that they make now trying to connect them is going to be fake, and it's not going to be real, and it's going to be overproduced. And, like, again, because they're shit actors, it's going to look terrible. It just makes for terrible television. So I think that's one of the struggles that they have. Local Arts, which said, I'm not excited and won't be watching. I'll still tune in here though. Apparently, I'm in till the bitter end. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoy our company and enjoy the group. Wouldn't be the same without you. Yeah, Michelle, a lot of folks are just not looking forward to it. Looking through the chats. Thank you for suffering for us, James. Let us say, James, you're my 12-step program. I still have a lot of virtual vitriol, to get out for my years of watching. Yeah. And like I said, I think we've all been in that point of it. But what I wanted to talk about tonight, I don't see my other thing. Where's my other stuff? Ain't that something? You be thinking you're ready and you're not ready. You are not ready. Here we go. There it is. All right. Awesome. All right. So, what I wanted to talk about tonight is something that I really didn't pay too much attention to it at first because these things are always there, right? And what I'm going to term it as is like the because it for me and my interaction with it, I'm talking about the fan, the rise of the fan fiction as Sister Wives news, right? And it goes from like basically the Sister Wives fan fiction to the lies, like sister lies, if you will. Okay. There are some content creators, social media creators, who are moving from the area of recaps and commentary to outright inventing stories. Okay, they'll tell a story about how Kody and Robyn showed up to court and the judge ruled against them in some court case, and they decided to take their home and give it to Janelle, and they're going to send them off, and they're going to be broken homeless. And then I saw another story where they were saying that TLC canceled their contracts in 2025, and Kody and Robyn will no longer appear on Sister Wives. These things are clearly false. Clearly false. There was like I don't really care to go back and forth. Like I'll talk to anybody. If anybody wants to come on the show, I'll talk to whatever content creators out there or person or personality. If Robyn or Kody called me tomorrow, I would talk to them. But I give my honest opinion and my honest observation on what I think is going on. But there was a content creator not too long ago when Gabriel had passed, and they were coming out with a lot of stuff that was just not accurate, right? In my assessment, it just wasn't accurate. And I said something. I made a whole video about it, turned into a whole big kerfuffle. Um, and like the thing that always troubles me, especially like what bothered me with that particular situation, not to, I'm not trying to dig up any bones or pick any fights with anybody. But what bothered me with that situation was just simply, I don't think it's appropriate that if somebody is grieving the loss of a child, especially grieving a loss, period, but especially a loss of a child, it's not our place to rub salt in that wound to make it better. Like that, we're not helping anybody, especially in the name of I just want to be edgy, I want to be flashy, I want to get more content, I want to get more clicks on my content, so on and so forth. Like I think that that's disingenuous, and I think it can be harmful because you don't know when people lose people, no matter what happens, there's a phenomenon where you will blame yourself, especially when it comes to children. Like if you lose a child the way Janelle lost her son, there's a large inclination for you to blame yourself. You could have done something. You should have seen something. You should have noticed something. If only you had did this, or if only you had did that. And the truth of the matter is that is the one tragedy where the victim of said tragedy is also the perpetrator of that tragedy. You can't protect somebody from themselves, right? You may stop them. Maybe you could prevent them from doing it that day. But if they're committed to doing it, there's nothing you're going to be able to do functionally to be able to prevent that. Not realistically. Like you may be able to slow them down. You may be able to time them out, or maybe if you can have them put into a hospital or something, maybe. But what happens if you call all the authorities in the world and they have the conversation and the person is salient enough to sit down and have a conversation with the authorities and say, look, I don't know what's wrong with her. Geez, you need to check her out. A little overbearing, don't you think? I'm fine. And they say, well, we don't have any justification for doing that. Then that person is no longer calling you or taking your phone calls. So you isolate them even more. Like there's a potential of that. So you're walking a fine line. Plus, you don't know how far they're willing to go. And there is a point too, especially with his particular career and being in the military, if you come up with these types of accusations and they're unfounded, you could ruin his career. You could ruin him. And then that's not going to help any depression. So there's I'm very hesitant and I'm very protective of that situation because I think that, especially in the position, I feel like I have a responsibility, especially when you talk about these microphones. We have a responsibility to not use the power of the mic irresponsibly, or just throwing out accusations or things of that nature. Because it's not just a matter of, I mean, there is always the legal aspect where you can get hit with slander or liable, most likely liable because you're talking slander. But you you beyond that, there's a character part of it. Like, we're talking about these people's lives, and we have to be responsible. Now, that's a more serious occasion. But like I said, I've seen where we've had people roll out stuff, this one's going to lose their house, or Christine won big in court for the child support custody, and now there's a possibility that Kody and Robyn might go to jail because a judge said don't sell your stuff, and they sold their stuff. And I remember coming out with for some of the things that they were talking about with child custody. I remember I did a video, and I was just basically saying, we have to manage our expectations, because a lot of this stuff, even though we wanted to, Christine to make out like a baddie, we want truly to be taken care of. We want the OG3 to get their money, or at least their fair share of the investment that they put into the family. They should get that back. But we can't lose sight of the fact that that's probably not going to happen unless Kody and Robyn voluntarily do it. And I remember when I came out with that video about managing expectations, I got some nasty emails from folks who were like, "Who you to tell me to manage my expectation? You sit up here trying to mansplain." I'm like, I'm not trying to mansplain. I'm just merely reacting or talking about something that has been put out into the sister wife's ethos as fact. And I'm saying that this is not what's going to happen. It's just not going to happen. No, you don't know what you're talking about. They said they had sources. And the point that I wanted to make is, like, ultimately in this conversation, I want to talk about, like, the thirst for clicks is fueling content that blurs the line between analysis and or reaction and straight up fabrication and lies. Like, you'll click on stuff because they realize there's an easy formula. If you're getting into sister wife content, easy formula is just say that Robyn and Kody are evil and OG3 are good, and you can make up whatever you want to make up about those individuals, and you'll be fine. And what I like to do is I'll challenge those norms or challenge those ideas. I mean, unfortunately for Kody and Robyn, a lot of times you guys pretty much look like assholes. So it's kind of hard for me to pretend like that's not the case. But I at least want to be able to substantiate my line of thinking with things that we know about and things that I can evidence, as far as like episodes or scenes or things that we're talking about, things that they've said on podcasts or things that they've said in press jaunts or whatever the case may be. So I try to source my material. I don't try to pull stuff out of my ass. Well, let me stand up while I pull this out of my ass. Like, I really want to make sure that I'm trying to be fair. And by being fair, I want to be as truthful or as close to the information that we have available. Right now, if I'm going to speculate on something, I'm very clear when I am speculating. I'm very clear about what it is that I'm talking about and why I'm saying it, and my reason or rationale for saying it, and why I believe what I believe. Right. And I try to back it up with evidence from either the show or a podcast or an interview or article. I don't just sit there and be like, you know what? They grew up this way, so that means they're that way, and then just run with it. So the concern I have is that by that being the focus, especially the fabrication part, this keeps Kody and Robyn in constant circulation. Even when there's nothing new happening, we wind up talking about them all the time. Like, it's just something that we do. So this is why I asked the first poll, which I'll go to in a moment. Let's check it out. Where I said, do you think creators are crossing the line by inventing stories about the Browns? 9% of you said, no, it's just entertainment. So it's all loosey goosey. It doesn't make a difference. And in a grand scheme of things, it doesn't make a difference. No matter what I say about Kody and Robyn, they're still going to be living in $1 million house. No matter whether it is, and that goes both ways though. Let's be very clear, because I've also been criticized if I say anything about Christine or whatever. Oh, you could be ruining her case. She's got a child support case, and you could ruin her custody case. No, I can't. No, I can't. No court in the world is going to take James from my take on reality and call me into evidence anything that happens between them, because I don't know these people. And I say that about me, and I certainly say that about every other content creator on this platform who comments about the Brown family. We may know them in passing, even people who may be familiar with them in passing, or uh know them like from back in the day, or if they call them, they would know who they are. You don't necessarily know what's going on in your house. How many people do you know, like your neighbors? You might go out every day and say hi to Bob, or Tom, or Mary, or Sue, but they don't know what's going on in your house behind the doors, how you paying your bills, right? So, I mean, we just putting things into perspective. My opinion is not going to change their life. So I can appreciate that. So do you think creators are crossing the line by inventing stories about the Browns? No, it's just entertainment. I get that answer. Depends on how obvious it is. That was 15% of you guys said that. So if it's really bad, I guess it makes a difference. If not, I guess it doesn't. But then it says, yes, it's going too far. That's 74% of you. Okay. So that was the first poll. I have a second poll that I like to do as we move into the second portion. And then let me just read through some of the comments. Hold on one second. Because we're gonna drill it down a little bit, because that's what I like to do. Like, we're gonna talk about a concept and we're gonna drill it down a little bit and see whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Or at least give my thoughts on it, and what it could actually mean in the long term. Give me 2 seconds. So I'll put this in. Do. Okay. So the next thing we'll talk about is short-term damage versus long-term advantage. What? What? Short-term damage. So we're hurting them by coming up with these stories like Kody and then blah, blah, blah. Kody just got married. He had a wedding. I saw a picture of on a Facebook group, Sister Wives Facebook group. They said that Mary got married, and here's a picture of her getting married, and they photoshopped her face onto the face of a bride, body of a bride, and her fiance, and she's standing in front of like a big cathedral. Like, Mary got married, and this is her secret husband, and this, that, and other. Those kind of stories, they don't hurt, but for people, they may confuse people who aren't necessarily intimately involved with the show or aware of the show, didn't watch the show from the beginning, or haven't watched it recently, don't really know anything about what's going on. So they think that, there's probably a group of people that think that Mary is married. Mary is married now. Say that 4 times fast. So the question is, do fake rumors hurt Kody and Robyn more than they help them? You can see where we're going with this. Do fake rumors hurt Kody and Robyn more than they help them? Yes, they're damaging. No, they actually help in the long run. Let's 3, it's about equal. So let's run this poll. And I typed too many words because apparently they didn't like that. Okay, there we go. There's a poll. We just dropped it. Polls just dropped. Let me check out some of the comments. Local art Twitch watching little 90 day. Um, what is this? Kindness is great. Every time a rumor is wrong, they get to cry. Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. Let's see. Wendy's. Wendy's front yard. Easy way to know which rumors are true. Just realize the reviewers would be all over true stories. This is true. This is true. But it's that hot breaking news, and in some cases, they try to give you what you want. Not necessarily, and if you want to see the downfall of Kody and Robyn, that's what they're trying to feed you. That's what they're selling to you. So there's that. But yeah, so some of this stuff that'll come out, and I'll look at it and be like, I gotta check that. I gotta check that. This don't even sound right, or it's just too good to be true, and you drill down on it. And my mom said, that was my grandmother's name, by the way. Any news is good for them. That's true. Because as long as it keeps them, what is it? No, there's no such thing as bad press. So let's see. Those rumors just upset me. I don't trust anyone, much less clickbait. Yeah, it's a short term plan because I don't like that. And if I find out a channel is clickbaitish, when I see their stuff pop up, I won't watch it. I won't click on it because it's just a waste of time because there's no truth to it. But talking about all right, we got the poll ripping. The poll is up now. So do fake rumors hurt Kody and Robyn more than they help them? All right. So we got that poll ripping. So short-term damage versus long-term advantage. What do I mean by that? At first, fake rumors make Kody and Robyn look worse than they already do. And that's hands down. Like, because they cut usually the fake stories about Kody and Robyn are very damaging, very salacious, right? Oh, he has a secret wife. Cody's about to be arrested because his next wife is too young or whatever. I've seen those stories as well. But in the long run, it definitely gives them an escape hatch. And this is what was talked about earlier with the whole concept of fake news. You understand what I mean? Because you have the excuse built in where you can say, look, people, these folks, they lie about us all the time. You can't trust anything you hear that's bad about us. Like if there's something negative about us, you can't trust it. This allows them to group legitimate criticisms with fake stories and dismiss everything. Okay. And this is very important because as I've talked about, since we've started talking about like the Kody Redemption Tour and him doing special forces, they're not necessarily trying to capture us, people who have been watching the show for long periods of time. They're trying to catch new viewers, people who are being introduced to the sister wife verse. And they're going to look at those folks and say, oh, okay, this guy, he seems kind of friendly. He just seems like a go-getter. He seems like the kind of guy who's like the man's man. He wants to be out there and be one of the boys. He's an old fella trying to be a young cat, right? And he had for the macho men and the little kids and the young guys who sit there and talk about they want to have these open relationships. Is a one-way open relationship, open for me, closed for her. I'm the man, manosphere type shit. Kody is the poster child for those young guys because he's the guy who openly had a relationship with 4 women, kids with 4 women, and all of them knew about each other. They attended the last woman's wedding, right? Pimp Zella. This dude is Pimp Zella. And he tried to be a good guy. He could make the excuse that I was too good to him. They ran all over me. And that's why they left. Because I wasn't asserting myself in a man-dominating way. I wasn't, doing all this crazy stuff. And when they said that I wasn't taking care of them, or I wasn't seeing the kids, just like the other lies that are clearly dishonest, those stories are lies too. So they group the stories that go too far, the fabricated stories, with the stories which provide negative connotations on their character and say they're all together. So if you can't believe these stories, you can't believe those stories. When they talk about like I was arrested, I was never arrested. They talk about my show was canceled, my contract was canceled in 2025, and TLC fired both me and Robyn. We're doing season 20, and we're currently shooting season 21. How am I being canceled? How was I fired? That doesn't make any sense. So clearly that's a lie. So if that's a lie, then maybe it's not honest when we talk about what really happened behind the scenes with me and Truly and Isabel. Maybe those are lies too. Those are misunderstandings. Those are things that people who are YouTubers have been blowing those stories up, making a much ado about nothing. Then, of course, this is what I can hear Kody saying. If he's following that same track, he can get on and say, yeah, when Christine came out and told those horrible stories about me, she just said that because she's trying to make money. She realizes this is the easiest way for her to make money, so she threw me under the bus to make $1. And that's where I have my my concerns, as far as that's concerned. But let's take a look at the polls. What are the polls saying? What are you guys saying? You guys buying it? You're not buying it? You digging it? You're not digging it? Do fake rumors hurt Kody and Robyn more than they help them? This is actually split. It says yes, they're damaging. That's 20%. So 20% of you think that the rumors actually hurt them more. 40% of you said no, they help in the long run. And I think that might be closer to where I'm at. And then 40% of you said, okay, 39 said it's about equal. So 21 went up with yes, they're damaging. Here's my thing. And I want to ask you guys straight up. Is it really damaging? Because if you think about it, if you really think about it, the people who know that Kody is a bad guy or whatever are usually the people who watch the show. People who watch the show pretty much know that Cody's a villain on the show, right? And so us hearing one more thing about how Kody was a villain is not, moving us away from that. Like, it's not changing our minds. Like nobody was like on the fence and like, what he did to Isabel and Truly, I don't know. There's excuses for that. But when Christine came out and said that he was playing Mr. Plowboy on the wedding night, he didn't grease the rails at all. Just started jackhammering her. That's what did it. And I really don't like him. Like, most of the people who didn't like Kody before Christine's book came out don't like him now. Right? And Christine's book didn't change our mind at all. If anything, it's just confirmation bias. Like, we're confirming it. We're hearing stuff that confirms our previous thought patterns as far as he was concerned. All right. So right now in the lead is no, they help in the long run. So 40%. They're coming in close was it's about equal, 39%. So yes, they're damaging, but they will help in the long run. So we're in that poll. And then we're gonna come up with another poll. We're gonna poll crazy. We're in that poll position, y'all. The poll position. All right. So brought this next poll up. Let's see, it's our poll. All right, that one works. Put the answers in. And I think we had a super chat. So I'll be getting to that in a minute. Then, all right. So here's the next poll, guys. Do you think Kody and Robyn will eventually try to use the fake news angle for the redemption arc? Do you think they'll come out and do, like I said, like basically, they're telling all these stories about us, and I read somewhere that, we were fired. I read somewhere that this happened, and they always have these fake stories about us trying to tear us down and make us look bad, and it's obviously not true. So you don't know what to believe. And again, keep in mind, if we believe that this man is a narcissist, right, this actually plays right into his hands. Like if he can prove you wrong in one place, this actually bolsters his drive to say that you are wrong or you're lying or somehow you're victimizing him, right? It's the weirdest thing. I know I dealt with a person that was like that, right? They're not diagnosed at all. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna put this poll in. So you think Kody and Robyn will eventually try to use the fake news angle for redemption arc? Definitely, maybe, but it won't work. No, fans won't buy it. So we'll drop that in. I dealt with somebody like that before, and I literally I had the ability to be able to put things together, right? Because I just see patterns or whatever. And I put something together and I'd be like, here's the scenario. This is what you did. This is why you did it. This is how you did it. This is when you did it. And this is why you did it. Ba, 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 ba. And if I said, yeah, and that's why you were wearing white sneakers. Now I told you when, where, how, why, what you were wearing. I had 95% of your outfit correct. And then you come back and say, yeah, but see, I wasn't wearing white sneakers. I was wearing cream sneakers with a black stripe. So therefore, everything you said is wrong. You knew everything else, but because you got that one little factor wrong, everything you said is irrelevant, right? And that's what I can see with this particular situation. I can see them doing that. Like, oh yeah, since you guys said that I was getting fired from I never said that. I never said you were getting fired. Yeah, but I read it and it was like a big thing around social media. And if you go to Google and you type that in, Kody getting fired, contract canceled, they have a whole explanation about how I got fired. And obviously I didn't get fired. But I never said that. Doesn't matter. And round you go. Here's the thing. Well, let me do the super chats first. All right, so we had a super chat from Jody Pierce Scala. Where's the here it is. Super chat. Jody Pierce Scala, 1999. So I suggested to Notes to Self to review later seasons. It's just rehash. They were more insightful on after the wives left, not why. I am I wrong? No answer back. We know every detail. Waste of their precious time. Yeah, I mean it's part of the challenge that I have with like Sister Wife Current is there's so much of the Sister Wife stuff that's missing, and they refuse to give us any additional information. So all they're leaving us is room to talk about previous episodes and things that we've already kind of hashed out a million times. So if like the problem that I'd said this at the end of season 19, the problem that you'll have with a lot of these and it's not even no disrespect to Notes to Self. It just is what it is. If anything, it's disrespectful on behalf of the producers and folks at TLC for disrespecting the fan base. Because if you started doing like Sister Wife reactions in season 19, you would have zero content. You would have almost no content. You understand what I mean? Like there will be, because 9 times out of 10, the content that you have generated from season 19 stems from things that happened previously. Like the whole thing with Garrison isn't just, this happened to Garrison. This is a loss that they suffered, and it's a standalone thing. It's really what he did to Garrison and how they treated Garrison prior to that in previous seasons, which makes that episode what that episode was. Um, like seeing Kody go down and do the whole explanation, that only works. Like that really only works if you're not familiar with the struggles that Big G's had in the family with Kody and their relationship. It's not particularly offensive if you're going to bury your child and you have your other children, you're taking them home. And while you're home, you say to your kids, your young kids, "Hey guys, let me show you how I grew up. This is where I, used to work. This is where daddy used to sell signs. Look, this sign is going to be here." And you might do those things not to ignore Garrison or not celebrate Garrison's life, but you want to share those moments with your kids that you still have. And that's if you have a good relationship with your son who passed away. It's not completely unreasonable. It just lost a lot of, it just seemed in bad taste because it was just a reminder. The way they did it is just a reminder that Kody is more concerned about Robyn's kids than he's ever been concerned about any of the other children that he had. And that's why I think that it was rooted in such an insult when he took away from that sad moment to show the other kids and have a good time with his other kids, because you've been having a good time with them. So this would seem like, it just seems inappropriate because this is the one time where you could actually focus on the son that passed and not the kids that as opposed to you ignoring him for the kids that you took down to bury him. Yeah, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think they're also like, notes to self in light defensive, they can defend themselves and they can give you a more accurate description. But just from what I've seen, they're not necessarily just doing the reacting to the up to date, but they're trying to give like the historical information or like how a person who grew up in the AUB would react. So AUB member watches Sister Wives and they react. That's basically what I think they're really they're pushing. So it's just they're trying to give that perspective on some of the older stuff. And a lot of what happens in Sister Wives, to be honest with you, is rooted into the older stuff. But thank you so much, Janet. Jody. Janet, why am I calling you Janet? Jody Periscala. I did get your emails too. Very cool, very informative. Let me give you a little something. All right. And then we have local arts with $5 super chat. Remember the narcissist prayer. I read to you. That's why they're going to go. That's what they're going to do. Yeah. I mean, it's never their fault. So if you give them a way out and telling stories about them or not being honest about them, and especially telling obvious lies or stories, it only makes them that much more of a victim. The whole if I didn't do it, it's not my fault. This is I didn't do. It's clear and it's proven and it's established that these things that they have accused me of, being fired, mistreating this person or that person, that's proven to be not true. So if you can't believe these people when they say it, and they'll group all of us together, all the YouTubers and reaction channels, they'll group us all together with the rest of them, with the ones who are making up stories. And then everything that we say, as far as our observations and things that we've picked up or gleaned from episodes or things of that nature, they'll just simply say that those people can't be trusted. And that's why, and it's not going to be for fans of the show. This commentary will be for new people who are going to be introduced to Sister Wives. And so they're kind of greasing the rails in that regard. But thank you so much, Local Art Switch. Let me give you a little something. Then we had Sassy Experience, $10 super chat. CC's that lie about content are dangerous. In this day of parasocials, fans actually react on Reddit and Facebook. Angry fan made comments about how they would assault Kody or Robyn if they ever saw them. Scary, and that is kind of putting more fan in a flame, especially with there's some things that, again, like some of the ones that actually stuck out to me, a lot of them stick out about Garrison, why Kody and Robyn don't talk to Garrison, and this, that, and other, and it's not clear. And again, if you're going to make things, you're going to say these are things that I heard, I can't substantiate it. I don't mind people saying that. I just have a problem when people say this is definitely what happened, and I heard from an inside source or somebody from production that this is what was going on behind the scenes, and what they're saying doesn't make sense or is clearly not true. You're not helping these ladies. You're not helping the cause. You're actually hurting the cause, because if you're accusing somebody of something that they didn't do, when they do something, they're just going to say, remember that time they lied and tried to accuse me of doing shit I ain't had nothing to do with? And you've weakened your case. You damaged your credibility. And so therefore, when these channels come out with these stories, all of us suffer. Because there was one point where Kody had said, literally, he said on the look back little episodes that they ran on TLC right before Christine's wedding thing. I'm sure that was a deal they had to cut so Christine could get her special, her wedding special. But they said during look back, well, you guys don't know us. You only see us for like 2 hours a week, an hour a week. And that, we have a whole lives. You don't see what's going on in our house 365 days. So they're already gearing up for that. So I think that it's already in play. But thank you so much, Sassy Experience. Let me give you a little something, something, something. Isn't it crazy? Like, I'm able to get like abbreviated language, but I was stumbling over like actual grammatically correct sentences. Funny how that works. Oh man. Let's see. So basically we're talking about like the well, let's take a look at the poll. Do you think Kody and Robyn will eventually try to use the fake news angle for a redemption arc? 40% of you said definitely. 18% of you said no, fans will not buy it. And 42% of you said maybe, but it won't work. All right. So respectful, I'm going to leave that poll open for a little bit as we go through this next section. The redemption arc setup. When Kody and Robyn eventually push back, whether it's a book, interview, new project, whatever the case may be, a social media, maybe they'll open a YouTube page, who knows? They can frame themselves as victims of a malicious group. And that's where I'm really concerned. That at some point they'll be able to say, I didn't do half the things they were saying I did, and I'm not nowhere near as bad as they accuse me of. And these people are just evil and mean, trying to ruin my life because they don't like me because of a television show. Right? And this could open the door. Like this could open the door to their we were misunderstood redemption arc. Like they just don't understand what we were going through because they never paid attention, and there were so many lies that were told about us to make us look bad, but we weren't the bad guys at all. And the cycle will go pretty much bad press, fake press. So they'll get like a truthful negative criticism of their behavior on the show or outside the show, whatever the case may be. Then a bunch of fake clippings or fake stories will come out either regarding that or something around that, or they'll blow it to the next level where it's already bad enough. Like Kody and them look bad enough. They don't need help. They don't need assistance. They are fine without the condiments. Okay, they can go plain Jane and they're good to go. Okay, they don't need no special sauce, nothing. They're good. Like we already know that they're not right, and they did them the ladies dirty, and that's fair. But when they get they get that fake news, they get that fake press, they get that fake attention, those fake videos, they can always pull out that victim card, and they'll try to reset their image based on the fact that there's so much dishonesty or misinformation about them. They're going to use the card of, well, you guys need to get to know me and hear my side of the story. And again, when you bring up Isabel or Truly or how he treated uh Christine, and even as he's done on the show, Christine will say, "You didn't come to my house." He said, "Yes, I did." When he sit there and argue with Janelle, and she said, "You haven't been here in months." I've been here every day. Clearly, that's not the case. Clearly, that's not the case. You were there every day in and day out. And they try to reinvent their stories already. So if you give them an inch thinking that you're hurting them more, they're going to take a clean damn mile. All right. So let's look at the let's look at the poll. The poll says, do you think Kody and Robyn will eventually try to use the fake news angle for a redemption arc? 40% of you said definitely. They're definitely going to try it. And I think that this might not be as clear a poll because they're definitely going to try it. I think they definitely going to try it. Now, 42% of you said maybe, but it won't work. Right. I think that those two might be closer, more akin, like definitely and maybe, but it won't work. They'll try it, but it won't work. Then of course there's no, fans won't buy it. So do you think they have that much restraint? They'll stop themselves. Let me see. Yeah, so like I said, we'll go to the next poll. So I guess the next question I'll have or put to you guys is how do fake stories affect you as a viewer? Like, do the fake stories have any effect on you? When you're reviewing or you're thinking about Sister Wives, have you ever ran down the rabbit hole on the story and be like, wait, none of this is real. This don't make no sense. This is not true. Have they ever one of the fake stories ever got you? You know what I mean? Are you currently big falling victim to a fake story? So the next poll question: how do fake stories affect you as a viewer? Does it make you lose interest in the show? Right. So you hear so much fake stuff, you're like, all right, I don't know what to believe, to hell with it, or it's just too much. Does it make you suspicious of everything you hear? So when somebody comes out with a new story, hey, Cody's gonna be on special forces. No, he ain't. He is. Oh my goodness. Or is it you enjoy the drama even if it's fake? Let's we'll roll that poll out. Um yeah, yeah, yeah. But he said at this point, I don't believe Christine or Kody are great parents. They literally force children to choose. And whereas truly, when Christine is doing book tour in school year, during the school year, maybe she got a nanny. Whatever, be ironic. Well, technically, Truly is like 15, 60 years old. So as long as David's home, I mean, it's, she's pretty, Truly's probably doing her own thing, I guess. Um, what does the nanny do? Uh, Yeah, I hate morning said none of the Browns are good parents. Yikes. uh, so we have like the when we talk about the impact on the audience, um the issue that you would always have to be concerned about is that the viewers may become desensitized towards a lot of the information is being put out. Like they'll be unable to tell fact from fiction. Uh so they disengage, they stop paying attention, they stop clicking on stuff, they stop uh listening to various content creators because of these things. um Loyal Kody and Robyn defenders, people who are on their side, I haven't ran into any legitimate Kody and Robyn defenders, it seems like I get a lot of trolls who defend Kody and Robyn, but it kind of had the feeling that it was just more or less, you know, I'm going to say something that I think people on this channel just disagree with, and I'm going to say the most inflammatory way to piss as many people off as possible, but they don't ever come back and say what it is that they believe Kody and Robyn, why Kody and Robyn are good. They'll tell you like why Christine and Mary and Janelle are bad, but they won't tell you why Kody and Robyn are good. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody who's going to come out and defend them, not necessarily bash the other people. All right. So but if they do have any people who want to defend them, including themselves or their friends, when they bring their friends up and they talk to the camera, you know, it'll they're one of the biggest hammers that they can have in their on their tool belt is they're combating allegations or criticism is the fake news narrative. And they're gonna bang us with it. Like I'm telling you that's gonna be one of the things. So if I was given an interview with Kody and I said, well, what about this, this, and this? He'll say, well, you know what, James? You asked me about Isabel's surgery or truly almost died. I'm gonna say this. There's a lot of stories that are going around the internet that aren't true. And in that case, you don't necessarily have to deny the thing I'm asking you about. You just say, you take that and cursorily imply that that is also not true because there are so many other things that are being said that aren't true. And that's how you get around it. So, one of the biggest concerns I have is that when they come out with these stories, like these creators come out with these stories, the OG3 supporters and people who are supporting Christine or Mary or Janelle or people in those situations, their credibility comes into question, especially if we get swept up in repeating those false claims. Like if I jump right on to something that one of the channels comes out with and I say, oh yeah, guys, guess what? Blah, 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 blah. And then we find out none of that is true. Then even though I come back and I apologize for it or I clear things up and I straighten things out later on down the line. And like I said, if I'm sitting there talking to Kody or Robyn and I say, what about blah, 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 blah? Well, James, I remember there was one time when you said that this thing that was clearly false. Then that is something that, and they're just going to keep banging me with that one time that I got caught up. So that's always a concern. But the polls, let's go to the polls. Survey says, how do fake stories affect you as a viewer? 40% of you said it makes you lose interest. Okay. TLC ain't gonna like that. 13% of you said I enjoy the drama even if it's fake. Fair play. 47% of you said makes me suspicious of everything. So, and I feel like I'm kind of in that bucket. Like when I hear stuff, I'm like, is that true? How true is that? Or I'm constantly getting stuff and trying to go back and confirm things. I find myself doing that a lot with some of the stories and some of the videos that I'll see a thumbnail and be like, I don't know if that's true. That doesn't look right. That doesn't make any damn sense. What judge in his right mind would say that? That kind of stuff. So I have one more poll. Two more polls. We'll do two more. And then we're going to open it up for everybody to be able to jump in. We can have some fun. Hear what you guys have to say. All right. So, and this is a near dear one to me. And it's talking directly to myself and people like me in my position who are doing these videos and observations and reactions and commenting on these folks' lives. Oops. All right. So the next poll is should creators stick to facts or is it speculation or is speculation fair game? Should we just report on facts and things that we know, things we can establish, things that we can go back and refer to on the show or live streams, interviews, things of that nature? Or is it everything fair game? Is it all fair game? First answer is stick to facts only. Second is speculation is fine if labeled clearly. Third is anything goes, it's entertainment. Oh shit. Uh I'll say speculation is fine if uh here you go. Speculation is fine if disclosed. All right, let's see what you guys have to say about that. What you have to say about that. All right, uh okay. Okay. So the responsibility of the content creators. What is our responsibility, not only to the audience, but to ourselves and our own personal integrity? Should creators stick to the facts, or is or is sensational speculation part of the entertainment? Like, so do you want to hear like the just the facts, ma'am, or do you want, or I mean, and by speculation, let's be very clear. What I'm referring to is like insights. Like, what do you think? Like, how do you put this together? Like, what do you glean from this situation or your interpretation? Uh, and I think that there's a difference between like speculating or saying like, look, this is what I think happened, da 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 da, and saying this is what definitely happened. And then even going as far as to say you heard reports or you heard from inside people that this is what happened, and you probably didn't hear from anybody on the inside. And that's one of the things too, because anybody who tells you, and just a little inside baseball, anybody who tells you that they heard from somebody who was on the set that such and such happened or this occurred, I would always be skeptical of that, because the person who would be telling you, first of all, we've had TLC people who were sitting on literally sitting on filming somebody who was uh under indictment for raping and brutally assaulting his fiance. They were videotaping him, they were taping him court and potentially proposed to another woman. And this dude is had a trial date for facing charges of brutally assaulting his his present fiance, not somebody he knew years ago and back in the day they had a disagreement and broke off the engagement. He was engaged, went off, and they filmed it, right? So you want me to believe that these same producers, film people, audio tech people, cameramen, etc., these same crew members, same cut of crew members are going to tell on Kody, call a content creator and talk about Kody and potentially get fired? Because when we talk about non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, the cast and crew, the cast is signing NDAs. Kody Robyn, Christine, Janelle, Mary, they all sign NDAs. They kids, if they appear on the show, they sign NDAs. Okay. If you're a crew member, if you're there with holding a camera or hooking up mics or adjusting the light, if you getting lunches, your ass is signing an NDA. If you're doing crafty, you sign an NDA to be on that set. 100%. 100%. That's why you don't have these guys coming out dropping any tell-all books. 100% they have them sign an NDA. So you're telling me that not only are they risking their careers, but they're risking their ability to take care of and provide for their families and everything that they've ever worked for, so that they can tell, James from My Take on Reality that Kody talked shit to Robyn, that Kody and Robyn was getting in an argument. No way, bro. No way. But those are the kind of stories I'm talking about. And here's another question. At what point does storytelling cross into manipulation of the fan base? You understand what I mean? When we make up, like, we sit here and criticize Robyn and Kody all the time about manipulating the OG3 and trying to manipulate the OG13 all the time, and how terrible they are and how awful they are because they're manipulating people. Then you have YouTube channels that are coming out and they're manipulating the fan base and trying to manipulate people who watch these shows. You know, and let's be honest, you're doing it for money because you hit that clickbait, you get that viral click. You know, oh, I'm bringing you news. I'm telling y'all something, and a person has like 200,000 views on a video, right? They're making good money, or they making some money. Certainly making more money than me. And here's another question that I would ask. You know, do fans have an ethical obligation to call out obviously false narratives? You know, if you're a fan of the show, is it on you to say to content creators or whomever, like, that's not right, that's not fair, that's, you know, you're telling stories, you're making things up. And some people might look at that and be like, well, why bother? Why is that a big deal? Because if we're going to sit here and pretend like we care about justice, we care about what's right and what's wrong, I get it. Like, I'm not going to get into a Facebook battle with anybody over, you know, since what I'll give my opinion. And if something is, I feel is inaccurate, I will certainly say that I think that that's inaccurate. But it's not that I'm trying to insult anybody or be mean to anybody. I just want to keep the record straight. And that's one of the things that I found when I personally have dealt with people who are similar to Kody or Robyn. That's what I like to do. I like to keep the record straight. I don't want no fluff. I don't want no bullshit. I just want the record to go right down the line of what actually happened. And why do I want to do that? Because when you're telling the truth, you don't have to remember the truth. The truth is there. Right? I don't have to, oh, you know, what did I say happened? I know what happened because I saw what happened. I'm relaying what happened and I'm running it right down the line of what I think happened, on what I saw happen, or whatever, or what I observed happening. But if I'm telling like these stories, a lot of times if you tell a lie, one story, your lie has to be supported by another lie, which has to be supported by another lie, which has to be supported by another lie. And that's why so many liars get caught. Because by the time you get finished weaving that web of lies, you done forgot what your first three lies were, what your first three stories were. And those first three stories don't make sense if you put them together in a full body of work. When you look at it, they're not congruent with the last part of it. So it's basically like you'll tell a lie about somebody, it leads up to one way, but then in order for them to do steps 1 through 3, they have to be one person. In order for them to do steps 8, 9, 10, that would be the actions or behaviors of a completely different person. And it doesn't make any sense. And so what do you do as a normal person? I know in the court of law, what they tend to do is if you keep getting caught in lies, they tend to just throw everything out. Because I can't believe anything you say. You're an incredible witness. Not incredible as in the Incredible Hulk or the Incredibles, meaning that you have no credibility. Okay. And if you damage the credibility, when you do slate or level criticisms towards Kody and Robyn, those criticisms don't mean anything. And that only takes away from the actual fan base who cares about this, making sure that the record stays straight so we can hold people accountable. You can't hold people accountable when you have too much bullshit, dishonesty, and disingenuous storylines and stuff mixed in with actually what happened. That's just my opinion. But let's take a look at the poll. What does the poll say? Should creators stick to facts, or is speculation for fair game? Stick to facts, only 27%. Then 8% of you said anything goes. It's entertainment. Who cares? Right? And then you had speculation is fine if disclosed, 64%. I'm kind of in that group. Just because if somebody is saying, like, I do it, I'm not gonna bullshit. Like, I do it. So there'll be things that I've speculated on. And to be honest with you, if I want to keep it all the way a stack, I'm kind of doing pretty good with my speculation because I speculated about how the family fund works. And they came out later and confirmed that that's exactly how the family fund works. I speculated what was going on in Kody Pass. And it was confirmed that what was going on in Kody Pass. I base my speculation not on things that I wish would happen or things that I hope are happening or things that I think are happening just because I think it and I think it's fun. I base my speculations or observations on things that I've observed them do previously. And I use that to map on to figure out what they're doing now. So how you do one thing is usually how you do all things. So if you are like in Kody's case, if you're a selfish person who tries to finagle and get things for yourself because you're greedy, then when it came to Christine's house, yeah, you gonna have a problem getting your house from him. He's not going to let that go. He's not going to let that go. Anybody who makes sure from the front to the last, he won't show up to his kids' appointments. He won't show up to your stuff. He doesn't give a damn what's going on in your house. But anytime you talking about money, investment, land opportunities, real estate, he's always there for that. Somehow he's able to clear his schedule for that. Your kid having a root canal, your kid got back surgery, your kid need me to come and tuck him in, and I'm about 100 steps away from just sticking my head in the door. You guys in bed? That shit, I can't do that. But I could drive clean across town. I could drive to the next state. If you talk about selling your house, or you talking about you're going to have this investment of money, somehow I can find time for that. That dude is not going to let you have your house. He's going to fight your ass all the way. And I think that at the end of the day, I don't think it was settled because Christine put her foot down and Kody just said, okay, you going to give me Kody Pass? No, that's bullshit. I 100%, and this is me speculating, I 100% think Kody went to a lawyer and asked for legal advice. And when he went to that lawyer, the lawyer told him, ironically enough, the same thing that lawyer would tell any of the wives slash baby mamas, because he wasn't legally married to half of his wives. Christine and Janelle were never legally his wives. If they asked for Kody's house, if they asked for money from Kody just because they were married and they want alimony or palimony, the same thing that lawyer would say, Kody, Janelle, Christine, those things are in his name. Your name doesn't appear on it, and he has under no legal obligation to give you anything. Ironically enough, I think that when he went to go see that lawyer, and I have no proof of this, but this is my opinion, when he went to go see that lawyer and he sat there with that lawyer, and that lawyer said, Kody, that's Christine's house. But the family gave Kody. Listen to me. Your name was on the house. She took out a next mortgage. You didn't say that she still owes me money for this house. You didn't say that. She took out another mortgage, and her name is the only name on that house. Her name is the only name on the title. That's her house. But that's not fair because, well, I gave her the money. Kody, when you bought the McMansion with your wife, Robyn, your house, not Robyn's house, your house, Kody, did you tell the bank, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm still on the hook for Christine's house? No, you did not. That's why you took your name off of Christine's house. So you wouldn't be on the hook. So in order for you to fight Christine on her property, you have to go back and admit that you defrauded the bank where you took your loan for your McMansion. So, one, you're probably going to lose the case about Christine's house anyway. But you're going to be in a shit ton of deep water because you'll be admitting to a felony by saying you defrauded a bank when it came to your house with Robyn. So there's nothing we could do. And I think that's what happened. That's why he let Christine have her house. But his character, the way he fought and held on to Kody Pass, there's no way in the world he just turned his cheek and said, yeah, you can have it. not miss the knife in the kidneys. See, this is what I'm talking about when I say that things aren't congruent. It wouldn't match his character. It's not an equal display. When he sat there and tried to convince on camera Janelle to buy Christine's house, and he begged her and fought with her to buy Christine's house. That's a man who didn't want to let that house go. So you can't tell me okay, Christine really put her foot down. She told me, hell no. A lawyer told me he had no choice. That's my opinion. So let me just close this one out, and then I have one final one, and I'm going to do a wrap up, and then I'm going to bring you guys up. So should creators stick to facts, or is speculation fair game? 30% says stick to facts only. Speculation is fine if disclosed. At 62%, so the clear winner. 8% you said anything goes is entertainment. I don't give a damn. All right, the last poll that I want to put in. Okay, here we go. All right, the last poll that I'm going to rock out. Then we're going to open up the floor. Let you guys come up. All right. And this has like a 4. I want to give it 4 responses. All right. And here we go. Okay. So, oh shoot. All right, that works. This thing, man, does not want to cooperate. All right, here we go. So, how much more do you actually want to hear about Kody and Robyn? Like, ultimately, I think that's a question we got to ask it. How much more do you really want to hear about Kody and Robyn? First response is, I still want every detail, real or fake. Second response, only if it's factual and new. Third response, I'm burned out. No more Kody and Robyn. Fourth response, I'd rather focus on the other wives. All right, let's run this poll, see what's happening. Oh, crap. Ah, damn it. All right. We'll just leave it there. It does not cooperate. All right. All right. I just dropped the poll. All right. And let me go in. While we're doing that, let me just go in real quick and get the link. And I have some we guys call in for the if you call in for the thing, I'll have questions that I ask you guys to answer, and we're going to try to keep it rolling because I want to try to keep this under 2 hours. That's we be rocking super long. If I guess, there we go. All right. Just drop the link. Oh, damn it. There we go. Just drop the link. All right. Let me get one more. There we go. All right. Awesomeness. Let me grab my thing. Why is it? Okay. All right. So, all right. So, in closing, where am I at with this? Ultimately, my thing is this. I want it's not that I'm trying to cut anybody off. I'm not trying to, shame any content creators and tell them what they got to put on their channel. I just want to keep everything. I just want to keep the record clear. I just want the record to be straight so that when we criticize them, especially as you have new people coming in and people who aren't familiar with the sister wives, I'm one of those people, and maybe this is the bitter side. Like this is just the bitterness of it. There's no safe quarter. Like I'm not giving any safe quarter. I'm not going to allow, at least from my perspective, I'm not going to muddle things that were done in service because I feel like if I muddle the history or what happened so that I can sensationalize what's going on so that I can get more attention or more eyes, more clicks and so on and so forth. Grow my channel, which would be awesome. But I'd rather grow my channel on a foundation of I give honest opinions or honest observations on things that I see as opposed to just coming out with things because I think it'll be popular and I think people will click on it and they'll like it and maybe and I'm looking at the performance of my channel at the end of the day, maybe that hurts my channel, my brand or whatever, because I'm not willing to come out on the first thing that somebody says against Kody or Robyn and jump all over it and say, yeah, that's 100% accurate and blah blah blah, and I'm gonna make up some more shit because I get creative too, and I know enough about legal proceedings and so on and so forth that I could probably weave a pretty good tale about how Kody is getting screwed over. But how am I helping anybody when I do that? Because it's not just because I've always taken a position, especially on this channel, that I don't just want to talk about sister wives per se, but I think that this is an opportunity for us to open the door to have deeper understanding about people that we may come in contact with. And through our personal experience and the sharing of those experiences, we can help other people who may be going through the thing that we went through, or those difficult times, or those hard conversations that we had to have with individuals who are making our lives difficult. And if I say, for instance, one of the particular bones that I have to pick with the idea that divorce is easy or leaving is easy and it's awesome, and if you leave the person that you're with because they're mistreating you, then you're going to have this fairy tale ending where you go off and meet the person of your dreams and you'll get married and you'll have this wonderful life. Sometimes that's not the case. A lot of times that's not the case. When people leave, they don't have a house that they can just move into, or they have a house that they can sell and get hundreds of thousands of dollars so they can jumpstart their new life. A lot of people, when they leave under duress, they leave in extreme circumstances, they leave in a position where they themselves can't just walk out and say, you know what, I'm going to put down 30,000, 40,000, or $80,000 on a brand new home, or I'm going to have a house built while I stay in this luxury apartment or townhome that I'll rent. A lot of people don't have that option. A lot of people don't have that option. In some cases, one of the more heartbreaking situations and circumstances is some people, when they have to leave these situations, they have to actively make a choice to either leave. And if they potentially leave, they may have to leave themselves and leave their children with the person who is hard on them or breaking their heart or making their life difficult, or they have to choose to stay. And in some cases, that's why people stay. It doesn't have anything to do with the religious effect or the community or anything like that. It just simply comes down to I can't afford to leave, because if I leave, I'm gonna have to leave my children, because there's no way this person's gonna let me walk out with them. And so, because that's not going to happen, I'm going to stay. Oh, but James, they have resources. In some cases, they do, and sometimes they don't. Because we talk, it seems like for the last 2 weeks running, when we do the roundtable, members roundtable, we've talked about the limitations as far as funding and frankly disgraceful funding that a lot of these programs have. Like, everybody assumes that these shelters are just everywhere. These women's shelters, these battered people's shelters, they just everywhere and they're available. These places have beds. And sometimes the beds get full. And if you decide you want to walk out tonight, you might be walking out tonight sleeping on a subway bench because the beds are full at the shelter or the women's the women's place. So I mean, it's I don't want to sugarcoat a lot of stuff, because that wouldn't be real. in reality terms, a lot of what happens with Christine and Mary and Janelle and even Robyn and Kody, it makes sense in reality terms on TV. But that's 9 times out of 10, that's not how reality works for everybody else. When we talk about like when I was talking about the child custody thing, and I was like, that's not real. When people are like, oh yeah, you can't sell your house because you'll go to prison if you sell your house. Courts don't care because right now he doesn't have a custody order. Courts don't give a shit. And to be honest with you, he's not going to pay anywhere near the kind of money that we think he should be paying. If you don't believe me, to have a conversation with anybody who's ever received child support, they'll tell you that, especially with the prices now, there's people who get child support couldn't afford to take their kid to McDonald's. If they took their child support check. If they take their child support check to McDonald's and they go twice in that month, they're going to have to put some money to the shit because they don't get enough in child support to actually take care of the child. They're taking care of the child. They're doing it. And the kick in that they get is just extra bonus money. It's nice when they get it. In some cases, they don't. You know what I mean? Like we talk, and that's one of the shameful things about the state of affairs too, is that we'll get wrapped up in like big time people like, oh, Puff Daddy, he left and he had to pay his baby mama's like $5,000 a month, or 50 Cent, he was paying his baby mama $50,000 a year or some shit like that, some $50,000 a month, something crazy. And then she got greedy and he had to put himself on child support to knock the money down. Right? And we see those big time stories. There's people who get $30 a month per child. Been in the courtroom when the judge said that. $30 a month for child support. Let me tell you right now, there ain't shit you can do with a child for $30 a month. You ain't doing nothing. Nothing. And that's if the child's breastfed. Okay. You can't do shit $30 a month. You can't buy him an outfit. I mean, maybe get something from Walmart, like get him a little 2-piece set, little small pack of diapers. Diapers is crazy. So I'm gonna jump off my high horse. I'm just saying. But where are we at? Where are we at with the polls? Then we're gonna get right into the calls. All right, with the polls, we got how much more do you actually want to hear about Kody and Robyn? This is actually split pretty good. It's 12% said I still want every detail. I want to know everything what they got going on. Keep an eye on these suckers. 24% said only if it's factual and new. So unless it's new, unless it's factual, I don't want to hear about them at all. Them just keep popping their heads up, commenting on stuff that they ain't got nothing to do with. 28% said I'd rather focus on the other wives. Fair play. And then 36% said I'm burnt out. No more Kody and Robyn. I'm done with them. Finito. Forget about it. That's awesome. All right. So here we go. We have a lot of folks in the chat. We got a lot of folks in there. Let me just make sure we got everything up to date. As far as Super Trot. Oh, we got a Lizzie B. Gifted one My Take on Reality membership. So you guys get to come in because we're on a Saturday. I think I might keep it on Saturday. Saturday at noon time, Eastern Standard Time, high noon. We let the guns blaze. We do a round table. We had a bunch of people on yesterday. We had like 6 people on the round table. And I think I could bring in some more. So it'll be awesome. We had a really good discussion yesterday, talking about some things, hashing things out. Learned a lot of insights. There was a couple things I might actually make into a video. I'm trying to turn my damn phone off so we can get to it. There we go. We don't have no ringing and blinging. All right. So here we go. All right. So I have some questions for you guys, and we'll keep it rolling. I'm gonna bring you up. But before I go, let me give Lizzie B a little something. That's what I was saying. All right. All right. Here we go. So first up, we have Linda. What's going on, Linda? How you doing?
I'm doing good, James. I'm just loving this like almost like a teaching moment. I could that's how I'm really taking it. I think it is so important to like learn almost like from other people's mistakes. And anyone who like I would hope that these polygamists do have access to TV. I mean, if they go outside and they have outside jobs, they could see how this may not work and how this could be a nightmare.
Mhm.
As I was looking in the chat, a lot of people were saying, it looks like a lot of information was suppressed, like Robin's kids, the Dayton. We didn't see him, but we kind of heard a rumor he was living in an RV on the property. So it looks like that Kody's, his punishment and his patriarchy goes to everybody. But you said something in the beginning that got me nervous about how Kody and Robin could change the narrative and, how the fake stories would give them that ammunition
Mhm.
to do it. So I had listened to Mary's interview. There's something on iHeartRadio called I Do Part Two. I guess divorced people do it. And I was listening to Mary and I'm like, okay, then I listened to it again. And then something just clicked when you were talking about Kody changing the narrative. So I took some notes. So bear with me because, sometimes I can't read my own handwriting. I forgot the moderators' names. There's like 4 names, but I think it's the couple that was on the news that they cheated and then they got married. I didn't write their name. So if anyone knows, I could put it in the chat or you could check it out. So the gentleman was asking her, about her divorce from Kody and, with so many years, why couldn't it work out? And she came out and she said, well, if neither of you are willing to work on it, it's not going to happen. And
Right.
I sat there, I'm like, girl, you stood there 10 years waiting. You wanted to work on this. What? There she changed the narrative right there.
Right.
She's putting the blame on herself. She's making him look good. And I'm like, I'm trying not to curse, trying off a new leaf. So I'm just going to say, you effing big fat liar. That's big fat lie number one. So then they started talking, and she's talking about all this work she did on herself because he's like, you don't sound bitter, you sound good. And she said, well, there was a really dark hole in my life. I went through a path. I'm sure you knew about it. It was on the show. She didn't say the catfishing, and neither
Right.
did they. And I said, yeah, that's the catfishing. So she actually came out and said that before the catfishing, she realized that she was unhappy, that her marriage to Kody, she did it too fast. 6 months she shouldn't have. She was doing therapy before the catfishing, before 5 or 6 years. If you're doing therapy for depression for 5 or 6 years, I don't know how you're going to fall into a catfishing scam. Like what is your opinion?
Could you, if you're depressed for 5 or 6 years, could you fall into
No,
a
no. You're in therapy. You're in therapy. You've
right?
been in therapy for 5 or 6 years before this catfishing scam. Now, if you're in therapy because you're depressed, your marriage is not functioning, 6 years into your therapy, you're going to fall for a catfishing scam?
Well, you get lonely. She was, she had yearnings and desires that Kody just wasn't. He wasn't fulfilling her desires for years.
Okay.
Well,
All
I
right.
would say, well, the only reason I say that is because she, Kody put her in a state of severe loneliness, and the catfish
Sacred
was
loneliness.
yeah, you're right. Secret loneliness. You're right. He put her in that severe state of loneliness, and the catfish came in, and she was custom designed for Mary, and that's why I think you could fall into it because if somebody comes in and they know about like if you know what I like and you know what I'm about, and you saying like, "Oh yeah, I like this," and you start firing off all it, like, "Wow, we are soulmates." You understand what I mean? And that would be the
Okay.
first time that, and especially somebody who's been missing a connection for so long, and then they all of a sudden they have this person and they just fit like puzzle pieces, like they just fit in you, like, oh my goodness, like you're my other person, you're my person, and I think
You're my person. And that's how she was describing, because she kept saying, my person, my person. I'm like, is she going to come out as lesbian? Because
right,
she didn't say a man. She kept saying in this room, my person, my person. I'm like, okay, she's not saying a man. And before, they kind of let that go. But she did speak out against polygamy, which kind of rocked my boat a little bit,
Right.
that it's not safe, that polygamy is really not for her, and it's not for everybody. And it's not the way, like I kind of wrote it down, and she's like, you need to separate the faith, your faith and polygamy. And when you leave polygamy, you don't leave your family. She kind of cleaned it up with that, but she's pretty much saying polygamy is not the way.
Right.
But what
Well,
got
good for her.
me is your red flag about Kody. So when they asked, what are we going to see on this season of Sister Wives? You've done so much work. Are we going to see any reconciliation? And she said, well, that requires a lot of hard conversations. And, I've changed a lot and I've put up boundaries. So the gentleman said, well, you're the one known for the strong voice. He was kind of saying you were the one known that, you were the hard ass. And she said, yes, I am, but I know how to use my words now. And he said, well, are we going to see any healing on this season? And she said, well, there might be a little bit of healing, but, I don't think there's going to be enough. So he goes, oh, so there's still going to be drama, because without the drama, there's no Sister Wives. And she goes, right. I was like, you remember Saturday I said I was going to give her grace? No grace. They're all going to hell. Every single last one of them are going to hell. I'm done. No grace. You need to listen to that. To that. It's like maybe 45 minutes. I'm like,
I'll
all
check
right.
it out.
I did it as I was mopping my living room floor, so I didn't feel too bad. You can see
Right.
my laundry's put away.
There you go. There you go. See, Sister Wives is good for housework. That's what
Yeah,
I
James.
used to
But
do
you know
that
what?
when they sit
Yeah,
there
you're
folding my
right.
clothes.
You're right, darling. We just it's like stick to the facts. You can make educated guesses, but let's not give these people the opportunity to grow a new audience. I can't. They need
Right,
to be
right.
known.
Well, because I think too, when you do that, you can on purpose or by accident, you can elevate somebody. You understand what I mean? Because if I get it wrong and it's reported and it's proven that I'm wrong, then all the wrong things that they've done can be excused.
Exactly.
Or you can elevate somebody who doesn't necessarily deserve to be on a pedestal and
Hmm.
worship for their decisions and how smart they are, how brave they are, and they're in the mix right along with them. Like it'd be like if Robyn actually had a better front face, and we're
Hmm.
sitting there like Robyn is amazing and she cares about the family, and you buy into the things that she says. Then you drill down into the things that she actually does. And you're like, oh, oh, okay, she's something different. You know what I mean? But if you raise them too high and you put them up on a pedestal, then you forego the fact that you can ask
Hmm.
questions about their characters and who they
Exactly.
actually are. And I don't think anybody deserves, like, I don't think I'm a person like you can question things that I say or whatever. I've said that on this show, on the platform. I'm very open about that. If I have it wrong or you have a difference of opinion, I am not canceling you. I'm not cutting you off the show. I'm not going to bar you or kick you out or whatever the hell it's called. I don't even know what it's called. Because I don't
Cancel.
do it. Like, you
Cancel.
know
I
what I
think,
mean?
right?
If I'm not going to kick you off because you disagree with me. I'm not,
Right.
because I could be wrong. And I accept that. But if I'm so high and so elevated, if I'm going to be that honest with myself, I'm damn sure going to be that honest with you. You understand what I
Absolutely.
mean? Huh?
Yeah.
If I
Absolutely.
don't do it, I'm just saying, like, if I don't do it for me, I'm not going to do it for somebody else. I'm not going to be like, oh, Christine, she's the most smartest, beautifulest person, and she's amazing, and we can't ever question what she do. I can be questioned, so she can be questioned.
Exactly.
You know, everybody can get it. in today's parlance, everybody can get it. So,
That's true. So yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
yeah, I appreciate it. I'm going to look out for that, though. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, check it out. I want you up. You have that extra ear, so you could like really get into those nuances. Because when I get mad, I tell you, then I can't hear. So I listened to it twice, and I'm like, once she gave him grace, I was just like,
Oh, hell no. Yeah.
I was like, Yes.
Yeah. How do you go years and dude been kick you in the mouth and all of a sudden you be like, well,
Yes. Oh, I wasn't willing to work on it. You were practically eating garbage.
right, 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 right. And the two people, and here's the thing, like straight up, it's not even a matter of everybody has to be willing to work on a relationship. Everybody involved has to be willing to work on a relationship for a relationship to work. One person can't do it. So if Mary was willing to work on a relationship and Kody wasn't, that's all it needs to fail.
Exactly.
So I mean, that's all she had to say. I was willing to, I was there, I was willing to work on it. He wasn't for whatever reason. He didn't like me, he wasn't feeling me, he wasn't digging me. That's no fault of his. And he could,
Mm-mm.
is what it is. But I wouldn't have gave him that. I damn sure wouldn't have given him, especially you make an ass of me and I'm still standing there 15 years later.
Exactly.
No, thank you.
Exactly.
But
So
thank you so much for calling
thank
in,
you.
Linda.
All right, later, Gators.
All right, have a good one. That was Linda, folks. Yeah, Linda was in there yesterday, tearing it up. It was getting spicy. It was getting spicy. Next up, we got a sassy experience. Hold on one second. Where's my thing at? Okay, here we go. Sassy experience. What's going on?
Hey, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. How you been?
I'm good. I'm good.
Awesome.
How are you?
Doing very well. Thank you for asking.
Good, good, good. I know you're going to ask me a question, so I'll keep it short. You hit on something that started to really annoy me about the Sister Wives community, the fans, and the content creators.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had a problem with how no one wanted to look at this critically. They bought into the romantic view that they were trying to sell us, that polygamy was just like monogamy, split four ways. Like, I never bought into that bullshit to begin with.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, so we're going to throw all critical thinking out the window. But when they went through, they being Kody and Christine, they're split, and then the child support, and how everyone, just like you were saying a few minutes ago, just through logic and reason, I'm like, so y'all never been through a divorce, y'all never been through a child support situation of any kind. Like,
Mm-hmm.
people buy and sell houses all day. It don't work like that, y'all. And to your point where you were saying he's not going to be ordered to pay what they thought, I remember during that time, and you probably remember, this was last year, good old Pastor Jamal Bryant. People were in uproar because he basically was making $46,000 a month and was only being ordered to pay $2,500 in child support. But that was based on the child support calculator for the state of Georgia.
Right.
So he was at the top of it. But that's what the calculator said. And Utah and Arizona have similar calculators. And people were just throwing critical thinking out the water. I'm like, y'all, it don't work that way. But anyway, let me get off my soapbox about that.
No,
That just annoys me.
I'm gonna be straight up because I like to keep it all the way a buck on the channel. I came out, I said we gotta manage our expectations because she is not getting, like, even if Kody was making a shit ton of money, she is not getting that much money. Like, it's just because plus Truly is older now too. It's not like she's very, very young. She's older, you know. It's just not gonna happen. And the brutal reality of it is that, like you said, there's a calculator. Each state has usually each state has a calculator where they just take what he's making, what she's making, what their liabilities are, what they put out for rent, so on and so forth. If they have other responsibilities, children, whatever, they put that all into their calculator, and whatever that formula says, whatever number that spits out from that, that's your child support number. It doesn't matter that he just, that he lives in $1 million house, $2 million house, because he got a $2 million mortgage too. Like,
Right.
it's just,
Exactly.
it's just the way it works. Like, and we maybe there's something we could do on the back end, but it will require legislation in order to change that. But
Right.
that's the system as it stands right now. I'm telling you, I was down at I remember one day I was at coming out of a courthouse, and across the street they had the support mediation thing center. And a lady came out, she was crying like a son bitch. And when she came out, I knew exactly what happened from her reaction. She went in,
Mm-hmm.
thought she was getting some money. The judge basically told her that they weren't going to give her any additional funds or whatever. She got a bullshit custody order, support order. She came out, comes out laughing, gets into a brand new car. Girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
I guess new girl sitting in the front seat, gets into a brand new car parked in front of the place. Gets into a brand new car. She's crying, saying, I need money. I can't take care of the baby. The baby is hungry, need money. He's like, not my problem. And I'm hearing this. And he
Mm-hmm.
drives off and she goes down and stand on the bus stop. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's heartbreaking. But it's just the
Mm-hmm.
way the system is geared. It's the way it works. It's crazy as hell, but it's the way it works. I've literally, like I said, I've seen people get ordered $30 a month for a child. I've
Right.
seen people have 2 kids get $70 a month.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just the numbers. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but let me ask you this. I'll hit you with the first question. Have
Okay.
you noticed the shift from like the recap commentary type content to made up storylines on social media? And if you have, like, how do you feel about it?
I have noticed it. Obviously, it's always been there. I think, now that there are more content creators, just by default, then there's more made up storylines. And as I was saying in my super chat, it bothers me from the standpoint I have no problems when it's speculative and they state it that way.
Mhm.
I do have problems when it's passed off as if they're coming from some level of being a fact authority, right? Like,
Right.
an inside source, an inside scoop. And I also, my daddy has a saying, he's 76 years old. He'll say, all business ain't everybody business. And I
Right.
really do believe in this environment of parasocial relationships where people get a little too caught up and really think that they know folks. I'm always saying in comments, y'all don't know them people. Y'all don't know them people. And I
Right.
think content creators have to be just a little bit more careful to say, is this even worth reporting? Number one, is this fanning a flame that's already simmering? You know what I'm saying? And if I'm outright just making something up or putting it out like it's fact and not being truthful, that is just my opinion, what responsibility do I have? Because these people, they really do. They be, I've seen it in groups on Reddit or whatever, where someone will post some picture where they saw Kody or Robyn somewhere and they take the picture. And then you'll have somebody say, you didn't go up and spit in their face. You did. And they mean
Mm.
it's not a joke. They mean it,
Right. Right.
and so of course there's responsibility on both sides. But for me, yes, there's more of it. And part of it is it's more of it because there's more content creators covering it. But also it is annoying because it breeds so much inaccuracy. You don't know what's what. And then people have thrown critical thinking out the damn window.
Mm.
Like half this stuff couldn't possibly be true. People being mad with Janelle, or mad with Kody because he went to bury his son. I don't like Kody. He's an asshole. But I remember, somebody got mad with me because I made a comment. Janelle allowed that man to be a father to his son. That was her thing. That was her choice, her thing to do, because in the end, that was still the father of her son. And her
Right.
son wanted that relationship, even though he didn't give it to him. Like, y'all, come on. It's too much.
No, that's fair play. I think that, like, when it comes to, like, I'm not going to question the invite list to a funeral, especially in light of a mother's grief, because push came
Right.
down to shove, you know, Kody very well may not have just been there. Janelle might not have just invited Kody there. And again, this is just my opinion, or
Hmm.
speculation. I don't know this one, but
Hmm.
she very well could have invited Kody there, not as a way to say, for Garrison, but she could have invited him as an opportunity for him to parent his other kids and be there for his other kids who are hurting.
Exactly.
And she
Yeah.
herself may have also felt like, whether we like him or not, the reality of it is, like you said, this is the father of her child, and she lost
Mhm.
her child, and she might want to have that connection with him, not
Mhm.
necessarily for permanence, like I want to, take him home and rock his world connection, but just the connection and realization that we made this life together and it's now gone. It's been extinguished. And I would just
Right.
want to recognize that at one point, at some point in our lives, we were together, and we brought them in the world together, and we're gonna send them out together, and they're not gonna turn the
Exactly.
page. And if that's what she needed, I'm not gonna criticize her for that. I'm not
Right.
gonna criticize her for that, because she has
Right.
to do what she has to do to get through this tough time. Because it's easy for me to. I wasn't at the funeral; they didn't invite me, so
Right.
so
We don't know them people.
yeah. I declined that reservation. I said no to the RSVP, but
Right.
I didn't get invited. So it wasn't like, I'm not. I can't take it. I can't be offended, but oh so much. You know what I mean? It can't offend
Right.
my sensibilities just because I didn't know Garrison.
Right.
I have opinions about, the importance of a father and the fatherly role. Like I can talk about that all day, but
Mhm.
it's hard for me to talk about what they needed to do to get through that very tough time. And if that's what
Right.
they need, if that's what they needed, and God bless Janelle, and I take my hat off to her, because that is the mature thing to do, to give him an opportunity. And it
Exactly.
seems like that's what the ladies were doing the entire time. If they give him an opportunity to come out and spend time with his kids, or maybe, at this funeral, take yourself out of yourself, and maybe you can reconnect with the children who are still here. Here's an
Right.
opportunity. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that only can help her kids. But if he can't get out of his own way, then I'm not going to be the one. Again, I think it goes hand in hand with kind of what we're talking about. I like to close the loop, but it kind of goes
Mhm.
hand in hand what we're talking about. I'm not going to give you the opportunity to say later on that I've somehow barred you from being able to bury your son.
Right.
I'm not giving
Right.
you that. So if you
As
come in, you
another
make an ass
example of
of
how you
yourself,
shut me out. Yeah, that
yeah, the
feeds that
kids gonna
narrative
see
that
it.
he likes to spin. Yeah.
Right.
Let me say this real quick, and then I'll be done. And this is going to upset some of the Christine B's out there, but
Uh-oh.
I keep saying it, especially if you bought into the romanticized view that their relationships were basically monogamy times four. If Mary was so abusive, then Christine had a responsibility to remove her children and protect her children, and she didn't. And Mary is better than me, because if she kept putting my name in her mouth, that taste would start to taste a whole lot different, because you're going to keep my name out your mouth. Write your little book, tell your little story, but leave my name out your shit, because you're not an angel. And I start telling all your little secrets, mama.
Yeah.
That's all I
Well,
got to say on that.
well, thank you very much. And the question I would have on that is, what happens, because they don't have to have a feud going. Like, I'm not trying to spark a feud between any of the OG3, but this is the second time that Christine has come out and spoke about Mary without Mary's input. Like the first being the ring thing, where she talked
Yep.
about Kody melting down Mary's ring. That was really, I appreciate the fact that the story came out, but at the end of the day, if I'm going to be honest and fair about it, that was Mary's trauma
That
in
was
the whole
Mary's story. Exactly.
you know. So, and then
Exactly.
on this, you're like, oh yeah, this is why my kids don't mess with her, because of that. What happens if Mary comes out and says, like you said, I didn't really think about this, so this is off the top. What happens if Mary comes out in her book and be like, oh yeah, well here's a bunch of stuff Christine did.
Right.
All right, what do we do with that information?
Right.
I mean, that would be new information. So,
And I think there are some bones. I think Mary is the type, and I'm not just defending her, but I think she is the type to a fault that rings my nerves, that she will protect her quote unquote family, even if it's no longer her family. But that's the way I say she better than me, because I swear to God, I'd be walking the dog with her. Ain't no way you gonna keep telling on me and I don't tell the truth on you. Ain't no way.
Yeah.
Ain't
We're
no
gonna
way.
tell some secrets. We're gonna tell some secrets.
Let's
We're gonna
tell it
tell it
all.
all
Here we
here. Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
All right,
Let me
sir. Have a good
all
evening.
right, you have a great night, Sassy. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh. Bye-bye.
Bye. I had not considered that, but that's a good point. Because and here's the thing, like with a lot of this stuff, nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? Like you can like who you like, and maybe you prefer this one over that one. But at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes, and in any relationship, everybody does something that somebody disapproves of. So there's plenty of room. I'm sure there's plenty of room where if Mary really wanted to come out with something, she has enough where she could come out with something. Just saying. We're gonna bring up Betty. She had said she had to go, so we're gonna. Hey Betty, what's going
Hey,
on?
hey, my baby. How are you doing, sweetie?
Doing well, doing well. I know you have to
Sorry
go, but
I'm
I wanted
dark.
to give
I'm
you the
just sitting
opportunity
in
to
my
say hello to
recliner,
everybody.
girl. Yeah, I'll make it quick. Well, I'll try because you know me. I say quick. But to expand on what Sassy, absolutely agree. But I would even go one further, which is to say that I don't think Christine, Kody, any of them are actually being 100% honest,
Mm,
because we've all seen photos, even at the funeral, or not funeral, but memorial service. Gwendolyn was sitting right beside Mary. Clearly, they did not have a problem, and she chose to sit beside Mary. We've
mm,
seen posts where Mary is with Hunter and taking pictures with the other
right.
children. So, but I do believe Mary's maybe more reserved in that she doesn't want to come out because she's so protective. Like you, I mean, clearly a dumbass maybe, because she tries to protect the family's thing at all cost.
Right.
But at what cost? I mean, like, how much of yourself do you have to find to sacrifice to say, you know what? Fuck y'all. Oh, pardon my language. Screw
No, it is
y'all.
what it is.
Like, I'm done protecting. I'm done. But is she protecting? It makes you wonder, is she protecting because it's protecting the family? Or is she truly, honestly, just protecting the relationship with those children? That it's not worth this public battle, or
Mm,
this, where you're going on Facebook, you're going on Instagram, you're doing all these things. Like, you got to figure out what you're sacrificing, what's actually worth it.
right. Right.
Because like me personally, even if somebody attacked me, it wouldn't be worth it to go on there. If it hurt my kids in any way, shape, form, say what you want to say. Because at the end of the day, I know that, like, my relationship with my children, with the extended family, is
Mm,
way more important than what the public may think about me. And it's the same way I feel, anywhere. It's like, you know what? Say what you want to say, because my reputation, I know if I've done right in my heart, I don't really care what the public thinks, because ultimately that does not, like, I have to more worry about one on ones.
right. Right. Well,
So,
that
I
and the
mean, that's
fact
just
that
me.
9 times out of 10, if we're gonna keep it all the way a stack, you know, having a good front face in public is cool, but I have to be me and I have to be true to myself first, because I
Yes.
feel like if you're not true to yourself, even if everybody else loves you and likes the person that you present to be, you're not honest with yourself. So they don't like you, they like what you pretend to be or what they
Hmm.
think you are. And that's all it really is that when if you are who you are and you're honest and you're true to yourself, then people either get on it or get off. There'll be times when people love you, there'll be times when people hate you. And it
Yes.
really you have no control over which end of that spectrum they fall on. The only thing you
No,
can
but you
do
do
is
have
try to do the
control
best you
on
can and be true to
your
yourself.
behavior.
Right.
So, I mean, and that behavior to her, especially coming from where she came from, may be more important to maintaining dignity at all costs. And like, you know what?
Right.
I'm not about to go through. And I mean, I love Christine. Don't I know there's a lot of people who love Christine. I do too. But with Christine and Kody, it is still a lot of yin yang. Without one, the other wouldn't exist. As
Mhm.
far as their popularity, their ability to make money. He's the villain. she's the heroine.
Right.
And without that, I mean, like, if Christine wrote a book and that wasn't all in there, who the hell's going to read it?
You
Nobody.
know what? That's
I mean,
one of
like,
the things that
seriously.
kind of ripped on her book too. Like, I know there's some people who like the sister wife histrionics, but I'm gonna be honest. Without the part about the stuff about sister wives and what was going on with Kody and them, the book was a little dry. And there's a reason why even some of the other content creators who covered the book, if you noticed, they fast forwarded right through a lot of her history. So they
Well,
didn't do
because,
like this is chapter 1 and we're going to discuss all of chapter 1 when she was a child. They said we're going to
yeah,
cover chapter 1 up until the time she got married to Kody. You know what I mean? That's a
yeah.
whole lifetime.
Without one, there wouldn't be other. And I mean, we can agree to disagree with some people, but like right
Mhm.
now, I'm sorry, but Christine's out doing book tours, taking pictures. The school year's in, and when I said I was never a perfect parent. I'm still not a perfect parent at my age. But what I did learn was because my youngest, there's 10 years between my youngest and my oldest.
Mhm.
And I mean, like, I'm not, I mean, I wasn't on TV or any of that shit, but I mean, like, I was constantly working. I was, and with my oldest, like, being that he was like those years between 15 and 18, I wasn't really available because I was always working. I had 3 other kids, and I kind of threw his concerns to the side.
Mhm.
And thankfully, we were able to have a conversation that let me understand that the ages from 15 to 18 were some of the most formative years of his life.
Right.
And while he understood, it was also very hurtful to him that I
Mhm.
didn't take that time, no matter what I was doing. I mean, at that time I was traveling for work. I was running here, running there, trying to take care of shit. But like, and he's like, well, mom, I was dealing with acne, prom, first dates, first love, first crushes, first heartbreaks. And like, if I could go back and tell myself something, it would be, you know what? Take the time, understand. 15 to 18 is the time to be as available as you possibly can be. And I'm not saying like everybody can be, because you have single parents who can't be there. And I
Right.
respect them 100%. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
Mhm.
saying me as a parent, just me personally. If I could go back, God knows I would take it back, because time is so short. You be
Right.
90 years old and be like, what the fuck? What happened? I look in the mirror now. I'm like, hey, who's that old lady? Oh shit, it's me.
Right.
But I mean, I'm grateful for the time I still have with the kids to make memories. But like with Christine, she's out running, she's doing book tours, business, all this stuff. I mean, like, I hope she takes the time to understand that truly is the last one. Don't saddle her with babysitters or nannies or any of that. And no, I'm sorry, but a trip every month to go here and there is not enough.
Mhm.
You have to be there present. And that's just my opinion. Not that it matters. I mean, everybody's got one. We know what that smells like, but
Right.
but
No,
I'm
I
just coming from my own experience, being that if I could go back and change things, God knows I would.
right.
Like, I would never want the time to get away where you can't change it. All you can do is move forward.
Right. Right. Well, I mean,
And I did
everybody
have a
learns.
brownie that's kicking in, so maybe what I said didn't make sense. So,
Yeah. Yeah. As it goes, it grows. But let me let you go because I got some folks.
oh, I know,
All
baby. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna go in here and finish cooking my steak fajitas. I love you.
right. Have a great one. You take it easy. Love
I'm
you back.
fixing
Stay out of trouble down there, Betty. Don't get caught on camera.
girl right. I'm going to a concert next week, so we'll see.
All right. There you go. There you go. At
All
least
right.
wear a
I
hat
love
when
you,
you do it.
sweetie.
Have a good night.
I love you, baby.
I love you back.
Night,
Have a
night.
good one. Awesome. Betty in the house, y'all. Yeah, I mean, you know, everybody's got to do things to the best of their ability. If if that's how Christine's making her bread, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, we got a Tanya up in the house. Tanya, what's going on? How you doing, Miss Kata?
Good, good. Good evening. How are you?
Doing excellent, excellent. How's everything?
Everything's good. I finally caught alive. I'm
Awesome. Well,
always
we glad
watching
to
it the
have
next
you.
day.
Glad to
Glad
have
to
you,
be
Pretty
here.
Lady.
Glad to be here.
So, so you've been checking out the listen to us talk about like some of the disinformation or misinformation is being kicked around online
Yeah.
with regard to sister wives. Have you seen a lot of like the clickbait,
Yeah.
stories and things of that like that of sister wives, or have you not seen
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. I mostly see it on Facebook. Like when you're scrolling through Facebook, it'll be like a clickbait. Cody and Robin cut off of season 20. Their contracts have been canceled. I basically, at first, I was like, what? But now it happens so frequently that I don't even click on it anymore. I'm like, I know that's a lie. I know that's a lie. I don't listen to it. And honestly, it's to the point now where I'm like, if James don't bring it up, it's probably not true.
Say, well, I'll probably. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep it all the way, but I've seen a lot of stuff, especially because I guess because I'll look at a lot of it, so the algorithm keys me into a lot of foolishness,
Hmm.
and I get so much stuff like, what the? There's no way in the world this is true.
Right.
Like, who the
Right.
hell? Why would that happen? They're not going to jail. Like, Cody ain't going to jail. He don't even have a child support order. They said that the judge said he got to go to prison for 20 years. Like, that's not. First of all,
No.
you know how much
No.
money some of these people be owing, like thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in back child support, and maybe they go to jail every other weekend. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah,
So
no, I know it's getting to the point where I ignore it. I'm surprised if people actually still click on it. Like, oh, is it real? But I
yeah,
guess
yeah,
there are
yeah.
people out there, huh?
Yeah, I think that is people, especially the new folks, like people
Okay.
who might be curious about it, and they'll say, "Who's this Cody Brown guy?" And they click on it because he's a guy that they see on like special forces or whatever, or maybe they hear about it, and it's a short, truncated version of like Sister Wives. Say like, what's this story about? Well, let me ask you this question since you've seen it. Do you think the fake rumors actually hurt Cody and Robin, or are they secretly the best thing that could have happened to them long term?
I think it's the best thing that could have happened to them long term.
Mm,
Because if those weren't out there, people would have to actually go watch the show to find out what we're all talking about.
right, right.
With those being out there, it's easy for them to, it's like I'm gonna tell one truth and two lies, and you gotta tell me which one it is. So
Mm,
it's like if there's a lot of misinformation out there, they can easily, like you said, they can easily come back and be like, with the stuff that is true, well, that's not even how it really happened. And I mean this happens to us all the time. There's always stuff being thrown out there that's not even true and nobody wants to hear what we really have to say about it. I think it helps them
right,
because it
right.
hides the truth.
Yeah, I'm in that same camp. I'm in that same camp. Like I think that because it's we're at a precipice now that, like I said before, like the whole thing, and I'm going to preach this to the day I die, bro. But the whole thing that we've been watching, where they tell stories about things that we've watched, and they reinvent the history. Like I saw this episode. What are you talking about? Like you totally
Mm-hmm.
did that, or you totally didn't do that. You never said that. The reason why they're doing that is for the new people. It's not for our benefit. Like they don't
Yeah.
care what they already know what we think, and they don't care what we think because we're not the ones they're trying to talk to. Because like most of the people who don't like Cody and Robin aren't going to change their mind based on a story that Cody and Robin tell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, if they get on they're like they spend all of season 20. Cody's gonna go around apologizing to everybody. There's a good strong possibility he's gonna sit there and try to cry at the table for everybody he talks to and talk about how, I always wanted to be with you and I'm sorry things didn't work out, but I fell in love with Rob and I couldn't help myself. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna sit there and do that the whole time. And the people who don't like him are going to look at that and be like, look at this sorry son bitch just going to sit there and lie to our face. They playing in our faces. But then you have people who might be new to the show, and hopefully, for his perspective, is hopefully I can get those people to believe that all that happened was I was in a relationship with you guys. It was going great, but then I fell in love with this other woman, and I can't help who I fall in love with. We're gonna hear a lot about that too. You can't help who the heart wants what the heart wants.
Absolutely. And I don't think it's going to help the women because in those early days, they lied.
Mm,
They lied. I mean, they all lied to get paychecks, basically, because they were all, as it turns out, all of them were out the door, maybe with the exception of Mary. They were all out the door before they got
right.
that show. And once the show came and they all started making money, they all started playing the game. So it will be that much easier for Cody to sit here and be like, they all wanted this, they all knew what it was, they knew what it was. Because I was just watching a clip today where, and I didn't even remember this, where what was it? Janelle said, like in the first season, they were asking her how does she feel about Robin coming into the family, and she was like, well, me and Mary and Christine were just so happy that Cody was finally dating again. We kind of knew he wanted to start dating again, and we were all getting kind of bored. And I'm like, ooh, that's gonna age like milk. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's not. He
yeah,
can,
yeah.
if he were to bring some of those clips up and be like, see, they were fine with it. They wanted it. Yeah,
Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Use your words against you when you trying to be
exactly.
nice. And I got to choke
Exactly.
on it, And here's the thing, like it's funny that you said that because that's my thing. That's something that I've always said is that you're in a good relationship when your shit is boring.
Right?
You know, that's how you know you made it
That's how you
because
know it's good. Yep.
right. You're right. Because if you always arguing, there's a lot of drama and excitement, and every time it's like Days of Our Lives or General
Mm-hmm.
Hospital or something, a bunch of just soap opera shit going on every time you turn around. Who's sleeping with who's cheating with who, and who's lying about what, and we losing everything. I don't know. We got to tune in next week. Like that's horrible. And when you're
Mm-hmm.
young, it seems like, I always say, like, don't confuse activity with accomplishment. When you're young, you feel like because you're doing a whole bunch of stuff in your relationship that you're doing things that's positive and you're accomplishing things, but you're not. You know what I
No.
mean?
No.
And I think as you get older, you get more mature, you realize that a lot of that foolishness just make your hair gray. Like
Exactly.
it's not helping you. And it certainly isn't bringing you closer. Like me
No.
arguing with you every day is not making me fall in love with you more.
No. It just shows that y'all haven't figured your stuff out.
Right, right, right. I'm still working on me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the
Mm-hmm.
wrong way to go about it. Two whole people got to be in a relationship. But yeah, I appreciate that. Let me ask you one more question before I let you go. Um, let me see. Uh, do you think TLC as a network plays into this dynamic, letting rumors run wild because it keeps the show relevant between seasons? So do you think that they approve of like the rumors, or do you wish they would, TLC is more in the camp of I wish they just keep it straight?
No, I think they love the rumors. I think TLC loves the dirtier it can be, the more messy it can be, whether it's true or not. If it's going to get people to come and tune in to find out if that's what's really going on, they love it. It's free advertisement for them. It's free.
Yeah.
Plus, it kind of gives them like feelers. They can see like what are the people interested in. Maybe we can, ignite this kind of a situation on the show.
Mm,
I think it
mm.
helps them.
No, absolutely. And I think you know what, because I've always said that like with a lot of the YouTubers and things of that nature, one of the minor annoyances I have is that like it's harder sometimes to pull clips because they'll get copyrights. They'll
Mm-hmm.
get copyright struck from TLC.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, dude, if I'm sitting there, like, especially during the off season, if I'm sitting there and I'm talking about your show, I'm helping your ass.
Right.
So I don't understand why you won't let me just talk about it. Like the fans are curious about something. I don't like the. I really wish a lot of what I do, it would be easier for me if I could pull the relevant clips to
Mm-hmm.
support what I'm saying, because I like to bring receipts when I talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it would be easier. But at the same time, I think you're also right, because the more salacious stuff is, the more experimental, I'll call it experimental, the more of a bold-faced lie they tell,
Absolutely.
that does reveal to them, because I hadn't considered that one aspect before. That does reveal a huge advantage for TLC and their producers as they're coming up with storylines, because then they can say, you know what, I didn't think this was a thing, but apparently the fan base is enthralled with this
Mhm.
particular aspect of this story.
Mhm.
So that gives us something to talk about. So we have to address it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're actually adding to their content. So I think TLC might even be riding with it with some of these fake stories. Plus, they don't have to worry about copyright strikes. 'Cause they
Exactly.
don't,
No, I think it does help them a
yeah.
lot.
And if it goes left, they just be like, look, we ain't got nothing to do with it. That wasn't us. We never said that. Yeah, we benefited from it.
But we didn't say
Right, exactly. You know, I mean, I was in the car, but I ain't put no gas in it. And I certainly didn't drive it to the bank.
it.
But I'd have helped them spend the money if they'd have got it.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. One other thing that I'm gonna let the next person come up. I was on the I listened to the live yesterday whenever there was 60 y'all on the panel.
Yeah.
And one thing I absolutely agree with Linda, and I could tell some people weren't really feeling it, but I agree with Linda whenever she was talking about Kody is not as dumb as we all. He looks dumb, but
Yeah, no, I
Cody's
agree with
not
that.
that dumb. He is a
Right.
narcissist, and I have a lot of narcissists in my family, one being my father. And he used to scapegoat my mom all the time. And I feel like Kody does that to Robyn. I'm not saying Robyn isn't perfect. I mean, I'm not saying Robyn isn't manipulative and she didn't use the situation to her advantage, but I think Robyn is a yes man, and I think she does do whatever Kody says so that she can get what she wants. And I think Kody lets her take the fall and then comes out and is like, "I'll punch somebody in the face for Robyn," just so that Robyn can think that he's protecting her, but really he's using her as a scapegoat. That's exactly what my dad did.
Right. No, I'll keep it a buck. I've said for what I guess is now years, I've said straight up that when we put a lot of stuff on Robin, but if you really look at what it is, it's all for Kody.
Yes.
It's all for Kody.
Yep.
The McMansion, oh, that's Robin's house. Robin convinced him to buy that house. Robin got that house. No. Kody got that house.
Yep.
That's Cody's house. That's not Robin's house. That's Cody's house. If you look at Cowdy Pass, oh, Robin and her kids, they fell in love with Cowdy Pass. Whose name is on every parcel up there at Cowdy Pass? Kody Brown.
Kody. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, she has some say if there was ever a divorce, that property potentially could come up for contention. But at the same time, Kody did the smart thing because he put her name on some of those lots and her name doesn't appear on the other lots.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he could
Mm-hmm.
balance it out. He has his name spread on everything. When he buys cars, he goes on trips. He went over to Robin's house because he wanted to go to Robin's house, not because she wanted him to come.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's where he wanted to be.
That's where he wanted to be.
Right. And I've always said that, like, as bad as Robin is, like, I'm not giving her a pass. Please don't jump in the chat and say that James giving her a pass. He on Robin's side. That's not what it is. I'm just saying that her power and her influence had to flow through Kody. Kody
Yep.
was making the decisions. He was the one deciding. If she went to him and said, Kody, I need you to clean the family account out and deposit it in my personal account so I can go off with some with the pool boy, Kody would have to say okay and then go forward the money, get the money and forward it to her.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Everything has to flow through Kody. She didn't have power unto herself. Her power was through her, maybe the power of influence. She influenced Kody to do some things, but
Mm-hmm.
everything he did because he wanted to do. And I'm not willing to give him that pass because I think that is a pass too.
Yeah.
Because if he's being tricked because she hitting him with the wham bam, thank you, ma'am. You know what I mean? Then
Mm-hmm.
he's a person. He's subject to that, those frailties. And I'm not willing to give him that. You made a decision because that was your choice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's it.
All right now. But I appreciate you calling in, Miss Kata.
I'm glad I caught it.
All right.
All
Thank you
right.
again. Salute. And I appreciate the speak pipes too. You're killing the speak pipes.
Oh yeah, I got to keep them provided in case some people don't want to call in.
You gotta keep them flowing. I appreciate it.
Give you some options.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, you hold me on lock. You got me locked down, so I'm good. Thank you.
all right.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Next up, guys, we have wait, let me get we got a super chat. Super chat from Betty, $20 super chat. Thank you for all you do. No, thank you, Betty. The open dialogue is so important and may help someone else. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, it's not just about Mary, Christine, and Janelle. They're okay. Like, you know what I mean? No matter how much we think they went through, Mary, Christine, and Janelle, they bills is paid. All right, they doing all right. They're doing all right. I think that we have to reach out to the people who are in similar or the same or similar situations and be able to provide that to them. Like somebody a little bit ago had said, like, why do I say the things about like they should leave and it's okay if they leave, and why do I promote that and push that narrative or that hold that standard? And part of the reason why is not for Christine, Mary, and Janelle, because there are people in the AUB, as I discovered, there are people in the AUB who may watch this channel or have watched my channel and watch other people's channel. And I want to normalize, the recognition of when you're being mistreated and you valuing yourself because you're worth it. I want to normalize that. I don't want to sit here and give the, oh, well, if you were raised that way and this is how you were brought up, then it's okay if your husband come home and he basically rips you off or he does other things to you to embarrass you, humiliate you, or take from you. And he won't allow you to maintain your dignity and your self-respect, your autonomy. He won't allow you those things because that's what the book says, or that's what some man in a building said. I want to normalize the fact that you are this. Look, everybody got one ride on this rock. Okay, you get one good ride on this rock if you're lucky. And it's way too fast and it's way too damn short for you to sit there and be miserable with somebody, try to make somebody else's life better. Because when push comes down to shove, kind of the big lesson that we can learn from Kody Brown and the sister wives, he settled for Christine, Mary, and Janelle. I'm going to keep it all the way above. I know everybody wants to give the narrative that, oh, he was so in love with them and Robyn came in and flipped his whole mind around. The truth of the matter is, in my opinion, I think he settled for them. He settled for them because that's what was available to him at the time. When given the choice, though, like with anybody who settles for somebody, oh, I'll go out with them because I ain't got nothing else to do. And I ain't really seeing nobody right now. They're nice enough, but that's not who you really want. What happens when that person who settled for that relationships meets the person that they actually want to be with? They skate, they gone, they done. That's what happens when that happens. You know what I mean? Like if I'm dating somebody back in the day, if I was dating somebody and I wasn't their flavor, when the guy that they wanted to date, the kind of guy they want to date or kind of guy they want to mess around with, come around, start smiling at them, talking to them, you gonna get dropped. That's the way it works. Might be your bet for your best, might work out for you, but you gonna get dropped. And I think that might be what happened with the OG3. Robyn is the type of woman that he wanted. Robyn was doing the things that he wanted a woman to do for him. The other women weren't. That's why he wasn't interested in spending time with them. Simple as that. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's nice to say that, Robyn was throwing that good leg up on him, but I don't think so. I just don't. I'm pretty good with like getting that feeling like, okay, yeah, that's something right there. Work with something. I just don't feel that. I don't feel like that's the case. I think she gave him the things that he needed or the things that he wanted from a relationship with a woman. The support system that she wanted. Like if she sits there and fawns over him and defends him no matter what, she won't shit talk him, and that's what's important to him. It don't matter how good she's screwing him. She's providing things for him that he finds important. Those are the things that are important to him, especially when if it just comes down to sexual outlet, he got 3 other choices for sex. So that's not the end all be all for him. So what else was she doing? Just say, but let me give Betty a little something. All right. Next up, we got Megatron up in the house. What's up, Megatron? How you doing?
Hey y'all.
Back once
Hey,
again.
James.
How's it going?
Man, it is going. I've been sitting here. I came from a wedding. I've listened to you guys for the first half, but now I can participate because I'm home. I just kind of wanted to highlight something real quick that you guys were talking about. I forget who the caller was about the child support.
Mm.
Well, you guys are talking about Christine not getting what we think. I mean, yeah, that is true. But Christine has that big $200,000 medical bill. And what I do know about child support, because I do get child support myself, she just did that order, last year, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, it will be this year, right? She
I think.
filed last year. She filed for it.
Okay. So this is how child support works for anybody who's not familiar with it. The day she put that order in, she can go back until the day Truly was born and show where I paid for this, I paid for that. And if she has proof, which I honestly, personally, and this is speculatory, this is just me thinking, with Janelle's records and Christine's name is on a lot of that stuff, her lawyer could subpoena all of that. So
Right.
they go back until the day Truly was born. And if she shows I paid $200,000 in medical bills, I paid $100,000 in this, they will make Kody responsible for half of all of that if she has proof that like, hey, I paid this all by myself, he didn't contribute a dime. And it'll show like, oh, this money came out of this bank account is registered to Christine Brown, she paid $200,000 in medical bills by herself. Oh no, Kody, you have to come up off half of that. So
Right.
One thing I do know about child support is she can go back to the day Truly was born and she can show like, hey, we got money from the show, but I was paying the medical. And I mean, I paid medical insurance for myself and 3 kids, and I know what I pay. So if she has all this stuff on record, yeah, he is on the hook for all of that. So he can't get around it.
Well, I agree with that. I think that it depends. Like the only thing is that their finances are so fangled. And that's what creates a problem for her. Because their money is so intertwined with each other. There's not a clear path of like, I brought in this amount of money and we spent X amount of dollars, because their agreement was they would kick in the money to a family fund. And then once it hit the family fund, that money would be distributed as needed. And
Right.
and she said that she was taking, like, she didn't want to take too much out of the family fund because she thought she was saving for the Kody pass,
Yeah.
and all that. That becomes her responsibility. And that's where it just gets weird. Now,
Yeah.
that's with the income part. Now, you're 100% correct. Let's be very clear. You're 100% correct as far as medical expenses, medical bills, and things of that nature. That $200,000 that she put out, Kody would be there's real possibility he would be on the hook for half of
Yeah, he's
that.
definitely on the hook. I can see that. And then also with the child support, James, if people that don't know, there's 2 entities in child support. There's the current child support and there's what they call the arrears.
Right.
So
Right.
he may be only ordered to pay $2,500 a month, but he also has to contribute to the arrears and they combine. So let's just say they order him to pay $2,000 a month. I'm just throwing this out there. That's not the number. I don't know. I don't have no inside track. He's paying $2,000 a month, but he has to pay $500 a month in arrears. So technically she would get $2,500 a month.
Right.
And then let's just say he's on the hook for arrears, $150K. So he has to pay $500 to that $150K, simultaneously paying the monthly whatever they ordered him to pay. Now me personally, I had to do that, and like my kids are 11 now, they're twins, and he started out of the gate being behind $20,000 of child support.
Mm-hmm.
But I only get $50 a month to the $20,000 in arrears, plus
Right.
the $72 a week. But I mean, my kids will probably be parents by the time all of this is paid.
Yeah.
So
that's
yeah,
another
like truly
downside.
probably be an old lady, 30 years old, still getting child support checks. And I know people in their 40s still
Right.
getting child support checks.
Right. Well, I mean, that's part of the thing too, is that at the end of the day, like the child support system in and of itself, theoretically, is not in place to break financially or punish the non-custodial parent. And I think that that's the part when I say that you have to, we have to kind of, you know, be realistic about our expectations. That's really what I'm referring to. Child
Yeah.
not there because he decided to leave you and go off with another woman, so he's going to be punished because you now have a child. Like that's not what child support is there for. Child support is there to provide for the child. So if he can establish, like you said, if he can establish if there is a large amount of money that he has to pay, whether it's through arrears or through his current monthly child support allotment, then he'll be responsible for that payment. But they'll make it affordable for him to be able to live.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They, you know, hey, I got my tenders at home and my beautiful young shy wife I got to take care of, and oh yeah, they definitely not gonna break his pockets. You know, that's
Right,
not
right,
what they're for, because
right.
then that'll, oh well, he has other, because they do take into account, you know, he has another family that he's responsible. Yeah, that will take all of that into account, but
Yeah,
I just kind of wanted to touch on that real quick. Like, I don't think people understand, like, there's two entities. You got the arrears and then the current, and then they
right,
combine them, and that's what Truly would get every month. But I think she'll be an old lady by the time he pay all that off.
right. And the thing is too is that we also got to recognize the fact that he's fighting it. He has an attorney,
Of course,
so
of
it's
course.
it's not a in
He
some
said that,
cases,
but he was already fighting it before she even put him up there.
right,
You know,
right,
y'all greedy boyfriend, and he's gonna want all my money.
right.
Yeah, Cody.
Yeah, he's not going quietly into that good night, gently into that.
No.
So and I don't want to be a dick about it, but it's just the reality of it. There is a substantive difference in fighting a child support case where, especially if she has an attorney and he doesn't, the custodial parent has an attorney and the non-custodial parent doesn't. It's easier, dude. I'm just saying it's easy.
Listen, because I 100% believe Janelle slid them flash drives over the show. Look, this is what you paid out. This is what
Yeah.
he paid out, which was nothing. I wholeheartedly believe Janelle slid a couple of them flash drives and them records over, because he settled too quick. Like, you came out of the gate pumping and sweating and singing, and then all of a sudden it's boom, I'm selling it, and we're gonna make sure the files are, sealed and can't nobody see, because yeah, it's something there. Like, dude, yeah.
Well, because I think that there's a strong case that you can't be the dad of the year and you never saw your child. Like,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean? So I think he's also looking at the fact that, as with some people who are in a public spotlight, they have to be concerned about the fallout. So it's not just a matter of whether you're innocent or whether you could win the case, but what happens if you fight this case and the details or the particulars of the case come to light into the public arena?
yeah,
Will this help your career or could this potentially hurt your career? And in my opinion, because people have such a low view of Kody's character to begin with,
yeah.
he's starting off from zero. And if
Right.
you have more stuff, and especially things that are being adjudicated by a court, if you're adjudicated as a bad parent, it's very difficult for you to say, no, they got it wrong. You know what I mean?
And also, James, I think he probably was settled real quick, because if they're looking at what he's doing to Truly, Arizona could also come after him for Saul and Ari.
Right.
Well, if he's doing her this way, well, let's just go over here and get in their business and knock, knock, knock. Oh, CPS is I'm at your door because we have reason to believe the two minor kids in this home are unsafe. So that opens up another can of worms too, which is why I think he settled very quickly in this case.
Right. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, and there that is a tactic. I mean, I hate to say this, but that is a strategy, because at the end of the day, if, like, for instance, with Dayton's dad, right? When,
Right.
when he gets hurt, and especially if you have two other children at home, too, I think at the time they had
Aurora and
Solomon was
Brianna.
4, and then Ari. But if he were to sue, like, that was one of the levers. That's actually, I'll flip it back the other way, because I know that it worked this way. When Robyn and Kody were talking to Dayton, Ari, dating Aurora and Brianna's dad,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that Robyn threw out in a very casual way, and I picked up on it right away when she said it because I knew where she was going with it, was he has a whole nother family that he has to think of, which means that if we go to court and I have you adjudicated as a bad parent through court, then
Yeah.
that cause problems with the children that you have in your house. So
Yep.
it's not just at that point, it's not just a question of whether he can fight to see Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna. He has to make sure that he can be in the house with the children who he has in his house.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
And I think that's what
very
happened here. Cody, hurry up and got these people out of his business, out of his face, and off his case, because now they're gonna hold a microscope up to us, Robyn. And I honestly feel like Robyn kind of got into his head on that. Well, Cody, if you don't hurry up and settle this, they could start looking at Saul and Ari and us.
Right. Well, that, between Saul, Ari, you don't really want the court looking in your books too much, especially if you're doing kind of sketchy shit. Like, I mean, it's just
right. Keep in mind, Coyote Pass was at this height at the frenzy of the Coyote Pass stuff. If they do a deep dive into all the money we've taken and the stuff that we've done, like, we're gonna be exposed.
Right.
And I think it was one of those Pandora box situations where it was like, I want to fight it just for the sake of fighting it, but I stand to lose way more if I fight it versus if I just let her have her way, settle, and go quietly.
Right. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, and this is what I would say too, like, even though we're managing our expectations, I'm sure any attorney who's worth his salt would have went in and told Kody straight up, look, we can fight back and forth, we can kick, we can scream, but at the end of the day, bro, you're gonna have to pay something because that's your daughter.
Something.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
yeah,
we gonna fight. Like, I'll take it as far as you want to go. I'll file the pleadings, the motions. I'll go for motion practice. I'll do the disclosures. I'll do the depositions. I'll do all that, and I'll give you a fat ass bill at the end of this. But please understand, so you're not mad, cussing, and screaming. We're going to lose. You know what I mean? And you're going to pay. Like, it's
you can't get around it, sir.
Right. I can dress it
like
up.
You got to come up off some coins.
But you're gonna have to come off some coins at the end of this. When we get finished dancing.
Yeah.
These monkeys stop.
But if you continue to fight, it's gonna be way more coins that you're gonna come up off of. And then, like you said, the negative publicity, it's like, oh, he's a deadbeat, he don't want to take care of his kid. That man, we'd have dragged Kody for filth. We already do that anyway. But you know what I mean? If he would have really, really dug his heels in to try to keep from paying that child support, I feel like TLC would have cut ties with this dude, because at this point, like, you have no redeeming qualities about yourself. None. At all.
Yeah. And the new audience, and that's another thing. Because especially all the work, and that might have been a conversation too, and then I gotta let you go, but that might have been a conversation too from TLC. Because I said, in order for him to be on Special Forces, that was a whole negotiation that Fox had to do with TLC to begin with, just to get him on the show, especially while he's on a current show. And TLC could look at him and say, look, bro, we've been over backwards to put you on Special Forces. This is an opportunity for you to expand your reach a little bit as far as your fandom. And we definitely going to make money because people are going to tune in to Sister Wives to find out who you are. And we're not going to let you mess that up for us.
True.
Destroy all that goodwill.
Do you think they hired a PR? Because have you guys noticed now when he does his interviews, normally he was real manic and he was all over, and now he's talking like this, and you can see him thinking about what he wants to say before he says it. He's not blurting out anymore. So I'm wondering if TLC sat this guy down and said, look, we can't help you if you don't want to help yourself. You got to calm down. Think about what you're going to say before you say it, because you are offending damn near everybody. If you're trying to take yourself and career to the next level, you got to learn to listen to. I think somebody talk some sense to them at TLC.
No, absolutely. And I'll even address like the whole PR aspect of my closing. But thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it.
Thank you for taking it.
No worries. I enjoyed you yesterday too. Great job.
Yeah, I have fun. I enjoyed you guys too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
All right, Megatron. Have a great night. Awesome. Next up, we got Caramel Cuties in the house. What's going on? Caramel Cuties, part of the Mod Squad. What's up?
Hey, James. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Alrighty. I don't know. I'm indifferent about a few things at the moment, but the main one I want to say is, unfortunately, when it comes to, I think Miss Linda had brought up the topic regarding Mary having therapy and being depressed for 5 years and whatever else. If she was going to the therapist that we all saw on TV, that therapist wasn't helping her.
Oh, you talking about an old girl? Yeah.
There's a reason.
She might as well
She
take
said,
that money out back and burn it.
that part right there, she could have melded to me, and I could have been her Zoom therapist if that's the damn case. But like, that woman wasn't helping nobody, and from what it seems like in the book, production found her in order to work with, and I'm wondering too where they found the nut job that they will see. Let me stop. Jesus, help me. It's Sunday. Sorry, I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna be nice. Where they found the woman in Utah who they were supposedly working with before they got to Nancy in Vegas. Both just seemed half-cooked. Both just seemed like they didn't know what the hell they were doing and helping them, whether it was individually, as a collective, meaning Janelle and Kody as a family, Mary and Kody as a family, Christine and Kody, or all together as the Browns under one umbrella. None of them helped them. So unless they had a side therapist that we didn't see and was seen off camera, I could see how Mary fell into that trap, unfortunately.
Right.
Mary's not healed, not one bit. She talks about worthying up and all that other crazy crap, but I think deep down inside, she still wishes her marriage to Kody had worked out. She still wishes it was her as head legal wife and not Robyn and whatever else. And it sucks because you see it. And I'm not saying it because she doesn't want to badmouth Kody or badmouth Robyn for that instance, even though her and Jen do at every chance they get off camera. But you can just tell that when he bumped into her in the moving truck, oh man, that probably sent feelings to areas in her body that ain't been felt up and moved around in years.
Right.
Yeah, it ain't no way that she was genuinely working on herself, trying to heal whatever traumas, triggers, and whatever else she had going on, not only throughout her marriage, it sounds like even throughout her own childhood, because it doesn't seem like Mary grew up the best either.
Right.
Now, regarding with the whole child support situation, yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with Megatron on the entities, but I do know a couple content creators had brought it up. So me and Dr. Google and Chat GPT kind of got to moving some stuff around late one night to do what's called research. And I know in Utah, they can go back as far as the arrears for 4 years.
Right.
And so whatever dollar amount monthly it came out to for Kody, he owes that times the 4 years out the gate.
Right.
And so I too believe, and it's speculation, allegedly. It's not, I don't have proof. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't know them personally, but I believe it could have been some other claims in there. And that's why, one, he settled so fast. And two, it's lock and key that nobody got any information regarding the court date. Even like for those that said that they showed up virtually, like they kicked everybody out, which was not common for those type of cases. So I'm pretty sure, he didn't want his precious show to end. I'm sure he probably was in talks and contracts for special forces. And we all know Fox will pull out in a minute to find out that if anything with ABUSC attached to it, he wouldn't even been casted for the show.
Yeah. Well, see, that, what's crazy? And I 100% agree with that. Because like I said, I watched Fox from Fox's inception when Fox became Fox. Right. And that made me sound old as hell. But that realization, like, yeah, holy shit. But like I said, I've said this before. I remember Fox specifically. I have a DVD set from a show that was on Fox. It was a really, really, really good show that they said, you know what? This show ain't number one. It's done. There was a few shows that were like, this show is amazing. Yeah, but it ain't doing what we wanted to do, which is beat
Right.
everybody in this time slot. So it's donezo. Like they will cut your shit fast. And they're not like TLC. TLC, like I said, can be potentially dangerous. Like if you go on a TLC show, you know, carry a bag of mace or whatever, because you don't know who you're on the set with.
Right.
But with Fox and some of these like Bravo, like they will get rid of you. They will kick you off the show. So yeah, I agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
So when it comes to whatever may be, whatever may be, you know, in the pipeline on the paperwork, I'm sure he doesn't want it to come to light, because it will be known. You know what I'm saying? What we all speculate and assume and somewhat believe anyway. Now, when it comes to, I think Mama Betty said it, and I know we were speaking on it in the chat a little while earlier regarding, you know, her son needing her home. At times, my kids needed me home as well. I worked a job at the hospital, so I was working nights, weekends, holidays, all of the above. And as a single mom, it's like, I can't keep doing this. You know, I'm missing field trips and everything else. So I ended up taking a pay cut and working for the school district, where my hours were pretty much the same school hours as my kids. My schedule was the same as my kids. Now, financially, you know, we had it rough. You know, the activities they was used to doing, we couldn't do as much anymore because Mama didn't have no money. But I was home. I didn't have to worry about who I was going to get to keep my kids on the weekends or missing their activities because I always had to work. But now, in Christine's case, I guess, again, that is the joys of having such a large family / extended family, that her taking a couple days to go on a book tour, and whether Truly was with her or not, I don't see how that genuinely would hurt Truly in the long run. You know what I'm saying? Truly might have been her number one supporter when it comes to writing the book and saying like, hey, Mom, go have fun, you and David. I'll see you guys when you get home. At the end of the day, I think her book tour was like September 1st through like the 5th or the 6th. It was only a couple of dates, a couple of cities, and it wasn't like she was gone a month or two on end. Now, when it comes to, you know, some were saying that they feel like Christine was overly negligent. She could have pulled her kids from the situation years ago. I don't know. I've been a single mom. Single mom life really ain't that damn hard in the scope of overall. I didn't go from all of us in the home together to not having him help, and then it's just me and the kids and woe is me. At the end of the day, I kind of knew setting out like this may just be me and my kids, and I'm cool with that. It's fine. If they're there, they're there. If they help, they help. If they don't, they don't. Whoever's supposed to be in their lives going to be in their lives. Christine wasn't raised like that.
Right.
So for her, even if it's an excuse of putting the religion first, putting her man first, I think she deep down might feel like she did what she felt was best for her kids. And when she got the strength to say, I'm out, she left. I don't think I would have stayed around as long as she did, but hell, I don't think I would have ever married Kody to begin with. I'm just, you know what I mean? But to each his own. I'm not going to down another mother for trying to do something that she feels is best when you got raggedy ass mamas out there like Robyn, who don't mind stealing from other people's kids to put her kids ahead, or you know what I'm saying, who mistreats other people's kids to make sure her kids got what they need and what they want. And that I feel like is another form of child abuse. That's just my opinion on that matter. And again, Robyn wouldn't have done none of the things she did without Kody co-signing off for it, which makes him even more of a piece of you know what.
Right. Now I think that's fair play. And I'm not even gonna touch it. I'm gonna leave it right where it is. I'll leave it right where it is. I think you hit the good points.
All righty. See you back in the comments.
All right, thank you, Carmel Kitties. Appreciate you.
No problem.
Yeah, what I'm gonna say on top of that, you know what I'm saying? What I'm gonna say, shit. She doesn't say it what she said. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to, like I said, the child support stuff, look, Cody's gonna have to pay. Like I said, any lawyer worth his salt gonna tell him, like, bro, you got to pay something. The only chance you have of not paying child support in Cody's position is if you somehow walk into the court and they do the paternity test and the shit come back wrong. That's the only way you walking out of there not paying nothing. You ain't gonna have to give up none of your money. That's the only way that's working. The only way, because you children have a right to child support, and they have a right to expect you to financially contribute to their life and lifestyle. It just is what it is. It's in the best interest of the child that you're, at least if you can, especially if you're not there physically, emotionally, psychologically, for the child to support them in those ways, then the least thing you can do is be there for them financially, kick in a couple bucks. So, and you will be on the hook for that shit. So sorry, not sorry. That's just the way it works. That's the way the cookie crumbles, cuz. And again, there's a strong possibility. And as far as like before I bring Ty up, thank you so much, Ty. I apologize for jumping on it. But just to tie something up that was said, because it was kind of brought up yesterday. When it comes down to it, I have a passing curiosity, and I will admit that, on what happened during this particular hearing, the child support hearing. I am curious about it. I'm not going to bullshit. I am curious. But I don't need to know. I'm okay with not knowing, because I understand why the court would bar people like myself, a YouTuber, from listening to the hearing, because the first thing I'm gonna do is come back and tell everybody what was said and what was going on and who said what, when they said it, and what they looked like when Christine said that Kody was a deadbeat, what it was his reaction, etc., etc., etc. That's all fine and good, and it appeases our natural curiosity. And honestly, it'll probably make some of us giggle. But when push comes down to shove, the question that the court would ask, and I said this yesterday, and I'll pose it here: the question that the court would ask, and the weight that they would give, how does this help truly? If me knowing and reporting it to everybody and discussing it on YouTube helps truly, then they'll open the case. Or if it doesn't hurt truly, potentially it couldn't hurt truly, then they'll open it up. But there is zero chance that they're going to open that up for me to talk about it and then draw criticism for Kody or for Christine or any of the parents, or how Truly feels or how she should feel, and potentially make her feel bad or feel like her parents don't care about her, aren't providing for her, or doing what they need to do for her. If there's even a remote possibility that could be the case, there's no way in the world they're going to open that case up. And we shouldn't expect them to open the case up. To be honest with you, I would have been very, 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 very surprised if they would have opened up the case and made that case available to you. And here's the question. If you were going through a painful child support and child custody case with someone who is your significant other, and allegations were being tossed around about both parties, would you want everybody in your neighborhood, your neighbors and friends and people at your church, to know your business? The answer is probably no. So I mean, I get it. But next up we have Ty. What's going on, Ty?
Good evening. It's going good. How are you doing?
Doing very well. How's everything?
Everything's great. Everything's great. So I
Awesome.
just wanted to. Did you have a question that you wanted to pose?
Sure. Let me just pull it up real quick. Um, well, I'll ask you the same question. Have you noticed a shift in the recap commentary to made up storylines or social media, like people doing more clickbait type articles or videos on YouTube or even in Facebook, Reddit, whatever?
Definitely. A lot of
Yeah.
YouTube content creators, and we all know who we're talking about, has had an uptick in the type of content that they're now putting out, or that they're putting out, or how they're kind of getting people to kind of engage with the channel. It makes me think of other things. But I have noticed, and you see it on TikTok. Usually TikTok is pretty good. They keep it basically show related. But anytime content creators get to where they talk a little too deep about the personal, what they just found out or how they the Brown family, I will say, kind of keeps everything close to the chest. They're very not much leaks, not much gets out. You're kind of making assumptions based on social media posts of the kids and what Janelle and Christine post or Mary post. We don't know anything about Robyn and Kody. They post nothing.
Right.
So I know there's one content creator that assumes or presume kind of gives the illusion that they know that they're secretly being watched by Kody and Robyn. But I can't say that they are or they not. And I'm wondering why do I consume her content or this person's content? And it's kind of like every now and then she'll drop a little nugget of something. If you're not paying attention, they'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, it'll tie something into tie something up for you. But I'm noticing a lot of content creators are kind of just going off of speculation. And for the most part, it's fun. It's like, I know because I can decipher from what's real and what's not. Like, that might be accurate. Okay, that may be accurate. That may not be. So I really enjoy that. So there is that aspect of it. But and then I kind of wanted to talk about the whole, I guess since we're on it, the child support situation to an extent.
Sure.
And we all knew we wasn't going to get the intake on that. Like I didn't even know how we even got the filing. I was shocked to even find out that they even let that information out to the masses. Like, oh, because usually anything court related for them, they kind of keep it, they've had a very good ecosystem, like keeping like, we're not letting this out. I don't know what roundtable meetings they have, but they do not let anything they don't want known out.
Mm.
I really think the only reason that Mary's catfish situation probably even remotely got to where it was is because that other person was gonna leak the story anyway.
Right.
Otherwise, if they could have paid some ransom or something, they probably wouldn't have told us about that story. And I'm pretty sure there's been other scenarios and instances that we would never know as a sister wives community that they've gone through because they keep everything very tight-lipped. I'm even trying to wonder how they keep 20 kids as tight-lipped as they do. Like, what are y'all doing? How are y'all threatening y'all's kids?
What are you threatening with? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, because that's the thing too. Because if you look at it, even when Mary goes on like these press junkets and she talks to the people, they'll ask her questions and they all are very proficient now. It's saying,
Yes.
oh, you'll have to see the season or you'll have to watch this season. And it's like a commercial. Or
Yes.
like I remember I think IQ had a clip for a long time where she would play Mary saying, oh, I've been quiet up until now, but I won't be quiet any longer. I'm going to speak my truth. And I'm still waiting for her to speak her truth. Like, you haven't said shit since like you promised us that you were gonna come out and start burning some, you know what I mean? You burning bridges this season, and she hasn't burned a single bridge.
No.
But that they've become very proficient at that, and they're very good at hiding who they are and what they're about. And like you said, there's a lot of stuff that most of the stuff, if we're going to be honest, most of the things that we know about the catfish, and I think you hit kind of the nail on the head 100% on this, are things that were released from the catfish.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't things that were released from Mary. Like, I really want to highlight that point because I think part of the reason why even TLC and Sister Wives addressed it as much as they did was because the catfish had released a lot of that information out into the place. So they had to give her a place to be able to go and refute it, call her a monster and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So that was all I really had to say. But yeah, so I'm curious to see how this next season goes. But I've been on this train for 12 years, for a few years now. I'm ready to kind of get off the Sister Wives.
Yeah. It's getting tired. Well, let me ask you this, because it sounds like you're where a lot of people are. If I'm going to be frank, I think a lot of people who are big fans of the show are slowing down on their coverage of the show, just because of oversaturation. the storylines are very dull for the most part, and
Mhm.
they don't really have any direction. There's no The biggest problem I have is that there's not a natural evolution to their story. So it feels like there's so much that's put together. Like,
Mhm.
because I even said before, like when the wives left, I'm like, there's zero reason why they should be meeting with anybody. Like he has no reason to meet with Mary. He
Right.
has no reason to meet with Janelle. You know what I mean? And Christine, they have Truly together, but that's not really like
Mhm.
we need to go hang out somewhere over Truly.
Right.
All we need to do is just figure out how we're going to co-parent and support one another in the raising of this child for the next 3 years. That's it. Like I don't have to be your
Thanks.
best friend for that. So there's no reason why they would come like and in order for that, when I say there's no reason for them to be in each other's spheres, what I'm specifically talking about is there's no reason for conflict.
Oh, of course. So
You
where's the
know,
show?
like what are we fighting about? like,
Yeah. So,
like
so we have no
Janelle, what are you fighting
conflict.
Janelle about? I mean, Coyote passed short of money, but now that that's settled and the money is pretty much divided, it is what it is. What are we fighting about?
What are we talking for?
Right, right. You want to call the boys? Well, you don't let me call the boys. They are grown. They have their own phones. They have their own houses. I don't even live with them. I'd have to call them too. I call them too. So you can call them. If you want to talk to them, call them. You don't need me. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing is just unnatural. Like that's a dumbass conversation as far as
Can
I'm
you
concerned.
imagine that conversation that he has with his boys when he does call them like, "Hey, Gabe, how are you?" Like I can just imagine like the uncomfortable, like it's secondhand embarrassment. It's giving. It's giving
Yeah. Right.
secondhand
So
embarrassment.
what's
Like
going on? Nothing.
I can imagine Gabe giving one word answers too. Very, very direct, very precise, very matter of fact. We're good.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Like yeah. Let me go and call you back. That's the phone
Yes.
call you're never gonna get.
Exactly. And that's probably what was happening. He wasn't able to get information from the kids that he could use, probably even for the storyline or whatever. He couldn't get information from them to make them part of the conflict in the show that he probably needed them
Right.
to be. So, anyway, but yeah, I kind of, it's run its course, I believe. I'm not saying it necessarily needs to spin off. If they wanted to do like a TikTok series, they wanted to do something in a short form content, that would be okay for me. But I don't know. But next week is the first episode, right? The new
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
So we got some things coming up. So we shall see how it turns out. I'm excited.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
All
thank you
right. No
so much for
problem.
calling in, Ty. I appreciate you.
Have a good one.
You
Bye.
too. Have a great night. Awesomeness. Yeah, Ty dropped something on me just now. I was like, oh shit, you right. They did. Mary didn't want to talk about the catfish. Up until the time that she did the catfish, she didn't want to answer no questions. The only reason she talked about that shit was because the catfish came out and dropped tapes. Literally. Catfish dropped tape. But next up we got Brittany. Now, Brittany, what's going on, Britt? How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, James. How are you?
Doing excellent. Doing excellent.
Good, good. I have been half listening because I'm doing homework. It's not due yet, but trying to get ahead of the game.
Right, I heard
But
that.
one thing that you and the previous caller were talking about was going like, oh, they're keeping me from talking to my kids, and I can only have a relationship with my kids through their mothers. So if they don't facilitate it, then I just can't talk to my kids, and it's the most horrible thing that's happening to me is I'm being kept away from my adult children.
Mm,
Um, and one thing that I was thinking of, especially, I don't know the like the statistics on who watches what's the show, the special forces show. But if you have any young people, especially, one of the bigger things that I've seen on like social media is children going no contact with their toxic parents.
hmm
There's no way that he can get on special forces, or even if somebody chimes in like from special forces decides to watch a few episodes of Sister Wives, there's no way Cody can get on and talk about how you know these women are keeping him from seeing his kids and having community with his kids and having conversations with his kids. nobody in like, I'm a millennial, so nobody in my generation or younger is gonna vibe with that,
Right.
because for our generation, we're just like, no, there's no excuse because you have a cell phone, as everybody has said, you have ways to contact them.
Right. And
And
these are grown
secondly,
kids. These ain't like
yes,
these ain't teenagers. These ain't like little middle school kids. Like, a first, second grade. These are grown ass people with kids of their own. You can't get in
with kids
touch
at
with them.
their own,
What?
right. And people are not falling for the okey doke or, oh, my kids are just mean to me. Everybody, if your child has no contact with you, the first assumption is, what did you do to your child?
Mhm.
That's the first question. And Kody at this juncture, can't even acknowledge the fact that, he didn't want to have Christmas with his kids one year.
Right.
He won't acknowledge his part in the reason why his kids don't talk to him. So, like, no, you're not gonna get people on your side. If
Right.
anything, you're gonna get, I feel like TLC, they're trying to pull in younger viewers. You're just gonna piss them off. Like, it's not gonna work out for you.
Yeah, I just and it is and I don't want to be an asshole about this, but it's just kind of is what it is.
Hmm.
Like with the there's very few, and trust me when I say this, I'm confident. I feel like I'm the bee's knees, but there's very few very young folks, like 20 people in like 20, 25 to even 20, 30,
Hmm.
who really want to sit down on an evening, like a Sunday night, and watch what a 50-year-old person is doing. Like it's just,
True.
it's not at the top of their list. I know,
Very true.
when you get older, you be like, I feel like I still got it. But the truth of the matter is, bro, like they don't care.
You don't
They
know.
don't. They don't care. Like they're not gonna, like it's just like he could be on special force unless he have a drop a cape out his back and he fly across a mountain or something, or he do something totally incredible. Like
Hmm.
the younger people that he's going to try to attract are not going to be interested in his show. The folks that his target audience will be, in his perspective, and I'm sure TLC and maybe the PR people might have mentioned this, will try, like he's going to try to tap into maybe 35 to older, 35 plus.
Hmm.
He'll try to tap into that audience. But even that, and he'll do a lot of talking about his kids and his wife and how much he loves his wife and how romantic he is, things of that nature, to soften his character. But he still has the hurdle of being a part of a polygamous relationship. So you lose a good amount of people that way. People who are
Hmm.
a little more open-minded are usually a little more knowledgeable about the
Right.
failings and the trappings of these types of relationships and why they don't work.
Hmm.
And so he's not going to be able to just say, "Oh yeah, those women, they were just selfish. They was modern women." That excuse is not going to go well in
It's
that
not gonna go well
in
in a
that target
society
audience.
of modern women.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just
Like,
like
okay.
as much as quick as he's putting up his bridges to cross, like to try to get over some of his problems, he's
Hmm.
putting big old traps right in the middle of those bridges. It's crazy to me. It's like he's building, like he builds a perfectly structured bridge and then wraps the foundation and the base with dynamite. Like, you know what I
You
mean? Like
know,
it's crazy to me. Like,
but he
so
loves setting off bombs. He loves goes like, I gotta drop a bomb.
yeah,
So
right.
it's
I'm gonna drop a bomb.
extremely,
I picked the
yes.
dress. I'm
Why is
looking
everybody
good. Why
mad?
didn't work?
It's a bomb.
Yeah,
Bombs
yeah,
destroy things. I don't
yeah.
understand.
Why
What
everybody
are we
look
doing?
sad?
What is I think I've said it before, but there's this meme. I'm gonna find it, I'm gonna put it in the Facebook. But there's this meme of this guy and he's on a bicycle and he takes a stick and he as he's on the bicycle, he takes a stick and he shoves it in between the wheels and he falls off. And he's like, the whatever, is against me. And you're just like, but you did it to yourself. We
Right,
watched you.
right,
We
right.
watched you do it to yourself. I'm
Yeah, it's not the universe. It's not the
right.
Lord punishing you. You did that. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
did it.
you did that.
Right.
Exactly. Accountability
And
and responsibility, my friend.
exactly. And one clip that I hope if somebody else doesn't circulate it, I'm gonna figure out a way to like circulate it. That clip of him going, oh, I just go through 4 or 5 different versions of the truth and then I settle on one.
Yeah, yeah.
Sir, so you lie.
Right, exactly.
You lie.
You're a
You
liar.
lie. Okay. All right. And now you want us to believe you in what you say now.
Right.
Okay.
I'm like everybody else. Like, no, that's from somebody who can't distinguish what the truth is when they see that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Because everybody else was just like, who's everybody? Because I'm not telling multiple truths.
Right, right.
It's settling on what I tell the truth and then that's it. So
No, I got you. Yeah, I'm not on that train with you. I'm not on that train.
exactly.
I missed that one.
Right. But that's really all I had to say.
No, that's
So
awesome. Thank you so much, Brittany. I appreciate
of
you.
course. Yes, yes.
Have a good one. Make sure
You
you finish
too.
studying.
I will. I will. Thank you.
That's awesome.
All
Have a
right.
good one.
Good night.
Good night. Awesome, y'all. That was awesome. So we had the Mega Mods up in the house, the Mega Mod Squad up in the house. And Brittany, Lizzie B's in here too. So we had a whole team running as Power Sports. Awesome. Yeah, but the last thing I want to say, with regard to this whole thing about like the dishonesty and all that, here's a little bit of conspiracy theory. Okay, not founded, no proof, no evidence of anything I'm about to say. But I just want to throw this out there. I thought about this when I was considering this uh whole run, right? And this like the deception and the things that are being pushed forward and how it could affect, you know, it really hit me. It really hit me that this is a PR gift. And we had talked a little earlier about like the possibility he has a PR team. For Kody and somebody in Kody and Robyn's position, that would be money well spent because they present themselves in a forward-facing notion in a horrible way. But the whole idea of him getting involved with a new show, the apology tour, the reconditioning, him trying to find a redemption arc, him trying to recondition the story, or as we say, trying to change the facts of a story and trying to alter or reinvent history, like all of that plays into a PR strategy. One of the things that I think also plays into a PR strategy is the propagation of bad or incorrect stories. The more stories that are released that can be proven to be not true or are obviously not true or false, it discredits all other information that are relating to that subject. So, what does that mean? This goes back to what I was saying earlier. If I can pull up 20 examples of how I was tuned into this person was talking about me, and I can pull up 20 examples on different Facebook pages or YouTube pages, Reddit pages where posts were incorrect about me. That proves that a lot of misinformation is being passed around about me. Fake news is being distributed about me. So that begs the question to the audience: what can you trust? What can you not trust? When people criticize me, is it that they're criticizing me with fact or are they making things up? And anything I don't like, guess what I'm going to say? That's made up. That's not true. There's more to the story. That's actually part and partial what he had already started doing. He just didn't do it in a refined way. And as Brittany pointed out, he's become a lot more sophisticated in his denials, in his presentation, and I think in his redemption arc, he's going to become a lot more sophisticated. So, from that respect, I say, and I plead to my fellow content, creators and contemporaries, that we have to hold the line. If you care anything about the truth, you care anything about supporting the people that you say you want to support, and helping them move forward with their truths and feeling validated and seen because they underwent such terrible circumstances, if that's important to you, then you want to keep the facts straight. Don't embellish on it. This story is bad enough. You don't have to add pepper to it. Like the soup is just define. You don't have to put nothing to it. The sauce is great. Okay? We can talk about what happened and we don't have to make shit up in order to make it worse. It's already bad enough. But when we do make it, try to add to it to make it seem like it's worse and it was so much worse and he's so much more terrible than we already perceive him to be, then we are actually going a further way to help him. We're helping him, not hurting him. That's what I have to say with regard to that. Let me give acknowledgement to Lizzie B, who donated gifted a one My Take on Reality membership. Thank you so much, Lizzie B. Lizzie B is a fantastic supporter. She's also one of the Mega Mod Squad holding us down. But she donated to just this stream alone. She usually donates one, but I really appreciate her, and it's an opportunity for folks to be able to participate. Just so you know, for some of the perks, you get access to the emojis and all that stuff. I got to update some more emojis. I got to put some more in. But as we get more members, I'll be able to put more emojis and things in. It'll be fun. And you also get access to some of our member-only roundtables that I host at least once a week, where I bring up as many of the members as I can, and we just have an open, free-form discussion and conversation. And we did it yesterday. It was awesome. We had 6 people on the round table. The week before we had, I think, 3 or 4 people. So it's growing and it's getting more popular. So if you guys have an opportunity, participate. Members can watch the re-watch, I guess, later on. But I really appreciate Lizzie B doing that. Thank you so much. Let me give you a little something. All right. And to all my favorite, fantastic, wonderful, excellent, supremely intelligent callers, the folks who called in, shared their insights, their opinions, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. You know, I learn a lot by talking to you guys. I have a great time doing it. You guys are very intelligent, fun, and well spoken, so I can't ever complain. I appreciate everybody in the chat. But before we go, let me give us recognition first to the Mega Mod Squad. We had Carmel Cuties, Ed Brittany, Not Brittany, and Lizzie B holding us down. Okay. And then we have Jody Periscala. She was actually one of the first person to send a message on the live today. Thank you so much, Jody. Local Arts Witch. We had a Sassy Experience. Okay. And of course, we had Lizzie B, who with the My Take on Reality memberships gifts, as well as Betty Aldridge. Thank you guys so much. And I want to give also recognition to everybody in the chat who held it down. This is a super thanks for you guys. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. That's my take. I'm James, and this has been My Take on Reality. Oh, before we go, next week, we're going to be doing the after show. And just to be fair, I want to do the after show. I'm going to do the after show, and I'll just give my initial response. I'm going to try to keep it relatively short because I recognize that people have to get up the next day, and I don't want to do like I've been doing historically, where I just got everybody up till crazy hours in the evening. But we're going to do the after show, and then I'll do the call-in show, I think maybe Tuesday. So that gives everybody an opportunity to be able to see the show too, because unfortunately, TLC has kind of structured it so a lot of people can't get the damn show anymore. They don't have access to it, especially on the first day. So it'll come out on Sunday, and if you have certain subscriptions or whatever, you can see it on Sunday. And if you don't, then you can't watch it. It's like if you have HBO, Discovery, or one of the other shows, I think Hulu, then you can only watch it on a Monday. So I want to give everybody a chance to see it, so that way when folks call in, they get the vent properly, because this season is either going to be a complete dud or it's going to be insane. And folks are going to be screaming and yelling at the TV, and I want to give everybody an outlet to be able to get their voices heard. So thank you so much. If you guys want to leave a message on speakpipe.com/mytakeonreality, please feel free to do so. That will be awesome. I appreciate that. Do I have that? Let me see. Yeah, if you guys want to leave a message, That'll be awesome. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm James. That's my take. And this has been my take on reality. And I'm out.